Welcome to the week of wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Hunter Chambers. I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Payne. How's it going, man?
I am fantastic, man. It's honestly good to be here, and I don't want to ruin. I'm not going to try to stress out my voice, especially with the big task that we got in front of us.
Oh, yes, that is true. Let me go ahead and actually get because the banners that we had last show actually did work out for me because it kept everything in place. So
Nice.
tonight we are talking about AEW All in London 2024. What I think was a fantastic show. Ryan, give your overall thoughts on the show.
Without a doubt, this pay per view delivered. So honestly, despite if you're a casual watcher or if you checked out AEW, there were so many stories going into this pay per view that it was kind of like I won't say a do or die or they have to deliver, but I mean, let's be honest, there were some matches where people could have like gone either way on, but kind of like if you watch a WrestleMania or so and you have like some big stories going in, you're expecting them to deliver on that big story. And honestly, I feel with All In, we got not just a great
We're not talking
delivery.
about that right now.
We not only got some great stories that were delivered on, but also on the executions were fantastic. I will say there's barely, and I say barely, a bad match on this card.
Yeah, I don't think there was a bad match on this card. Even the match that I wasn't that interested in
Yeah.
still had some fun moments in it, and we'll definitely get to there. Um, I thought this was a fantastic show. I think that AEW keeps delivering on their pay per views. Say what you want about their weekly show. I think their weekly show is really good, but I know some people have problems with the week to week episodes, but they always deliver on their pay per views. Can you hear me okay? Hello?
Sorry, my
Hello?
my I think my audio did for a second. I'm back on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, my audio dipped out for a second, so I lost what you
Ah,
said.
I see. I was saying that AEW always delivers on their pay per view events, especially this year, starting at Revolution to now. I don't think they've missed one pay per view that hasn't
No.
been either great or fantastic. Um, and almost every match on this card either had a story, had a stipulation, or felt like a big conclusion. This felt like their WrestleMania.
Yeah, like I agree with you that there are some stories that had conclusions, and even then, there are some matches where some stories can have some continuations, and I will give my thoughts on some of those matches. I know we were talking earlier, and you said you didn't see Zero Hour,
Mhm.
which outside of maybe one match that was on Zero Hour that had a big story implication, the other two matches, which were pretty much simply just tag matches, no story there. It was just something for it. I think it was just something to fill out the time while people were coming in the stadium. There were some people
Mhm.
that were there already there because I watched earlier on with RJ, Renee, and Jeff Jarrett, pretty much
Mhm.
overgoing all the matches, giving their opinions. So those some of the matches that were there were really there just to fill things out until it got time for the main show. But even then, those matches, like the tag matches, were fun. And
Mhm.
I will say, it's been a while. I can't remember the last time I saw a multi-man tag match that was more than 10 people. But that kickoff match, the first match, which was the 16-man tag match, I was dumbfounded at first. I'm like, wait, did they say that right? 16 man, it's gonna be 4 versus 4 versus 4 versus 4, but they said no, it's 8 versus 8,
Eight
and
versus eight. Yeah.
it really was a stacked. It was, and I will simply just say having that 16-man match and then later on the 10-man match, is I will say that while it looked a little overstacked, but the fact that you have that many have those many men, those many teams, really it did shine a bit of a negative light onto what AEW is doing recently with its tag division.
I can see that.
It's small gripes. It's just small gripes, though. I think
Mhm.
AEW is going to turn around, but I won't waste time talking about the 16 and 10 man match. Although the 10-man match, it definitely had more story going behind it than the 16 man, because the 16 man was simply just the winning team wins a purse of, I think, $50,000 or $30,000.
Mhm.
I don't want to waste my time with that. All I will just say though that there were some people there were at least I believe on the face side it was
All right, so I have it right here. It's
yeah
Tommy Billington, Kip Sabian, Rocky Romero, Kyle
Kip
Fletcher,
Sabian and
Leo
Tommy Bilson,
Rush.
hometown boys getting that hometown pop. Yeah.
Yep. Action Andretti and Top Flight versus Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, Anthony Ogogo, Arya Davari, Private Party, and the Dark Order.
Yes.
Jesus Christ, there's so many people.
Yeah, it really was a lot and it overflowed itself, but at least it wasn't a match that was just simply thrown on there. They did at least say that, oh, the winner is going to get this, which AEW has done in the past. Like when they did the team, like when they brought up recently, Top Flight is no stranger to matches that have coin purses, because they won a match when it was them and AR, that trio's battle royal for the $30,000 purse. Yeah, they won that with AR Fox. So at least there's a little bit of a little history element there. But even then, it was like an overloaded one. The faces ended up winning, although it was very interesting with Don Callis on commentary as he accompanied Kyle Fletcher. So it was just like little things, like I said before, it was just there to fill out time.
All right, so let's move on to the match that I actually watched on the pre-show. The mixed tag match: Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway versus Willow Nightingale and Tomohiro Ishii. I will say, Stokely is freaking hilarious. I love his comedy wrestling. With Chris being like his. Again, I made this comparison last time. This really feels like the Santina Marella and Beth Phoenix, where like Chris Statlander is like the muscle protecting Stokely, who's trying to run behind her.
They did on Collision. They did do a little hype package of Statlander training Stokely at a local gym. At a local
I didn't watch that, but I
gym.
need to watch it now.
It was very interesting, and Statlander's like trying to be the trainer, and I believe it. I can't remember what she said, but I just remember that she did say that Mama's gonna carry you to the finish, or Mama's got your back. And there were moments where you see Stokely doing like giving people shoulder tackles, and then he does one, I believe, follow-away slam, or it was a power slam on somebody, and then he ends up getting like very overconfident. You know, it was pretty much the Bill Stokely having pretty much what we saw in this match, like overconfidence.
The spine buster that he hit on Tomohiro Ishii, and then Ishii no-sold it, was fantastic.
It was just not just that, but it was also that little small build-up, because, you know, Stokely mainly avoiding not to get tagged in. It was always Willow and Chris. And then once he did get tagged in, Tomohiro wants to fight him, but Chris gets in the way. She ends up trying to give him elbows. He no-sells it. He no-sells it. Then she slaps him, which definitely like shook him a little bit, and that's what led her throwing him into Stokely for that spine buster. But even then, he still gets up and he just goes, just dead eyes him, and Stokely like got the fear of God in him.
Dude, it was so funny. So the match. Now, I was kind of distracted towards the end of this match because I had some stuff going on early on in the day. I know that Chris and Stokely won, which actually surprised me.
No. It was Willow and Tomohiro who won.
Oh, yeah. Willow and Ishii won, which that surprised me. Because I thought they were going to give it to Stokely and Statlander.
Well, it is very interesting, though, because don't know exactly what so far, I mean, Dynamite's only 2 days away, so we won't know what the stipulation is going to be for their match. But even then, it was interesting because I too thought it was going to be Stat and Stokely to win this match. But in reality, though, I mean, you have someone like Tomohiro Ishii there. I mean, there was good comedy bits of wrestling, but ultimately in the end, I think if you looked at realism, I mean, if you had to go realistically, there was no way Willow and Ishii would have lost, especially since Stokely is not a physical wrestler like Ishii is.
Yeah, but like, I thought maybe they would have it to where like Statlander did something to Ishii and maybe low blowed him when the referee wasn't looking, and Stokely like got a small package or something.
No, honestly, I think if Stat and Stokely would have won, Willow would have been the one to take the pin. But also, I think having Stokely being the one to take the pin is kind of like a good it was a feel good moment for me. I think for Willow, because Willow, she's kind of like, even before the turn, Stokely was always kind of like an annoyance for her. So even though she physically could not touch him, just having Ishii be the one to take that pin with that, sliding lariat was fantastic.
Dude, that sliding lariat is awesome.
Yeah, when it's executed right, I mean, I mean, clearly I don't know if it can be used as a finishing move, but actually, if the house call and the running knee can be used, I think the sliding lariat can be, but in a way, it has to be booked very well for the person who is giving the sliding lariat to be kind of like, oh, this is a move that knocks you out.
Yeah. Love Willow's pounce, by the way.
Oh.
She threw Statlander like outside of the ring with that thing. I love the way she uses that.
Yes, and I'm glad it's not it's a move that's not constantly used for her. It's pretty much like it's a one-time move for her to use the pounce. And because if it's used multiple times, it kind of loses a little bit of it kind of loses a bit of its allure.
Luster.
Honestly. Yeah, luster. But also it's allure as well, because I mean, if she's not wrestling, like if she's doing a run-in or she's helping someone out, then a pounce is perfect to do on somebody, to give you that holy shit moment. But in a match, it has to be one, because the pounce is always a setup for the Dr. Bomb. And even when she's not doing the Dr. Bomb, the pounce is always kind of like a good out of nowhere moment to really throw a different energy into the match.
Yeah. So what do you think the stipulation that Statlander will pick?
Oof. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure
not
she's
Statlander, but Nightingale. I'm sorry.
I know what you mean. I know what you meant. I think she's going to pick a stipulation to where Stokely can't be involved. So I have a few choices. Either we're going to get a cage match, or she's going to have a match for Stokely, or the stipulation is going to be Stokely's barred from ringside.
I could see them doing the first female cage match.
That's what no. I think Britt and Thunder Rosa did a cage match.
Oh, did they?
Yes, when the Thunder Rosa first won her championship was in a cage match.
Right. Okay.
But still, we barely seen women wrestling cage matches maybe outside of Britt and Thunder Rosa. So this could be the second time we've seen in a female rivalry where the cage match is used. Although with Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo that's been having their rivalry, I will not be surprised if they have a cage match as another stipulation. But my strongest bet is going to a cage match for Willow to pick.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the biggest news that happened on the kickoff show, or the 0 hour. We had Saraya come out to the ring with her whole family, which I love that she has this moment. She starts like disrespecting the crowd, which I love, because of course she's gonna get cheated when she first comes out. You got to heal it up. She says, "I'm the best."
I don't think it was more than just healing the crowd, but it was also like airing her grievances out. And she did get a few boos. I mean, even before Harley took the mic, though. Like, the crowd was happy to see her.
By the way, I love Billy Cameron.
Oh, she's a great addition. I think she's used better with Saraya than she was with the whole QTV thing.
Oh, yeah. So Saraya says that she is the best female wrestler to come out of England. When then Jamie Hayter returns. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. I popped hard when I saw that. I know you texted me beforehand with like screaming in the chat, which I love that.
It also had gotten a little early for me when I was watching the card because I had a friend of mine watching, and I believe he was a few minutes ahead. Because when I was watching the card, I rewound. I was rewinding a bit on YouTube to catch moments, so I didn't immediately jump ahead, afraid I was going to miss something. So immediately, when he sent me a text, he goes, "Oh my God, our queen is back." I'm like, no, I don't want to see that. If he's talking about who I'm thinking he is. So when Saraya comes out, I'm thinking, yeah, she is back, and then I hear her music. I'm like, I want to believe that. For me personally, every time I hear a wrestler's music, like especially someone who's been away, until I physically see them, then I will believe it. Because every time a heel responds to someone's music,
the old heel trick of like playing the music and they don't show up,
and then they're not, and then it's just them tricking the audience. Yeah, no, but I like the fact that Jamie's there. I mean, I think one thing that threw me off was that Saraya was in gear, and so was Jamie. That she was also in gear walking down to the ring. I thought this would have been like some impromptu match. I was even hearing commentaries say, "Get a referee so we can have this happen." But instead, it was just.
I think that was supposed to be a match, but I'm guessing that they ran out of time. Maybe those matches, those multi-man tag matches, went long, but I could definitely see them setting this up for All Out.
Oh, without a doubt. Really good. Without a doubt, I believe Jamie Hayter returning to get revenge, to attack the person that's one of the reasons why she got injured completely made sense to me. I know there are some, if you've been on social media, there are some people complaining
about her being on the kickoff show.
Yeah, and why not on the main card? In which I understand that. But here is the thing, though, that at least her being on... Look, I would have loved to have seen her on the main card. Have that segment where Saraya hijacks in the middle after a match and just goes, this pay-per-view is not continuing until I get my moment. And then you have Jamie Hayter show up and then they'd have an impromptu match. Would have been fantastic. But just looking at the card they had, I think they needed to worry about more time on the main card. So I think the 0 Hour was a good placement because...
If I'm being honest, the perfect placement to do that on the main card would probably be after Toni Storm and Mariah May. Because then you could have Jamie... Because remember, Toni Storm was part of the reason why she was injured. I mean, she was a part of the Outcast when Jamie got injured.
No, I'm pretty sure Jamie will go after... Because after she returned... the AEW did a backstage with Jamie, a cameraman approaching her, asking her feelings coming back, and she mainly just said, moving forward, her actions will speak for her. So I know that. Toni Storm's definitely going to be on her watch. And there was even some people online saying, "Oh, why didn't she return to help out Britt for her match?" I'm like, that's not a good pop for her.
Well, that plus I think they're going to try to separate them because. When you bring somebody back, you don't want them to be
immediately
attached to somebody else that they were before. You want them to flourish on their own, and then one day maybe we'll get Mercedes and I'm forgetting her name now. Camille versus Britt Baker, and she brings in Jamie as like a one-time tag team thing.
Well, no, and I completely understand that. It was just that weird thing I'm seeing online of people going like, "Oh, Britt's gonna bring in Jamie to be her backup against to counter Camille." I'm going, well, that undercuts not only Jamie returning, but her having that moment that we saw that she had on 0 Hour. Yes, it's not on the main card, but here was the thing: Jamie got hurt while she was champion, and it was months before building to the first All In, where she could have potentially gone in as champion. That moment
she was going to go in as champion.
Yeah, until she got hurt, and then they had to take the belt off her Double or Nothing. but it's because, but at the same time, her returning, interrupting Saraya wanting to have her own moment. While it's not the sweetest revenge, but it's just a tiny morsel in the road of where Jamie Hayter is going to start collecting she's gonna, well, she will be, I won't say punishing people, but she's gonna be collecting damn it, I had a good tag, I had a good line for it, and now it's just left me. She's gonna be collecting her licks. That's it. She's gonna be collecting her licks from everyone that did her wrong. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if she kind of goes against Britt as well, because I looked back at that Double or Nothing pay-per-view and the build up to it. It was always Jamie on her own. I mean, she and Britt, they were like a team, they were a unit together. But when Jamie was being attacked, where was Britt during that time? Britt wasn't there helping her.
Was she also injured?
No, I think Britt was. I think Britt at least was healthy around that time. Yeah, that's gonna require me to look back more on that at least. But it was just kind of.
I don't know, because that would make.
No, she was healthy because at that same Double or Nothing, we had that stupid Adam Cole versus Jericho match.
Right.
And then by a week afterward, they were in San Diego, which when I attended, and Adam and Britt had that mixed tag match against Saraya and Jericho.
Right. Okay.
So Britt was healthy around that time when Jamie had gotten hurt.
So that would make Jamie a heel.
No, not a heel. No, I'm just saying. No. I'm just building something in my head for Jamie. I mean, because Jamie said in that little backstage moment, my actions are gonna speak. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe she does help Britt, but then immediately turns on her and goes, and then she cuts a promo going, "Where were you when I was being attacked? When I lost my championship?" You know, she doesn't have to be a heel, but she could be one of those people who are justified in her actions.
So like Hangman.
At this point, Hangman, I think he's just slowly drifting. He is drifting away from that. But you know what? As much as I would love to continue talking about Jamie Hayter, and believe me, I do, we should definitely start moving on to talking about All In.
We definitely should. But I will say one more thing on the subject. I love that this is another women's feud without a title involved.
Mm-hmm.
They're slowly building up their women's division. Like now, you've almost got 100% women's division. You've got Thunder Rosa, you've got Jamie Hayter, and you've got Britt Baker all back from injury.
I mean, well, if you kind of look at the women's division earlier this year, and then by the time Mercedes joined up, women were definitely getting women are getting more, not just more TV time. There's more matches now. There's more than one women's match on Dynamite.
Yeah, there's two women's matches on Dynamite, 2 on Collision.
Yeah, and also on Rampage, even though people weren't paying attention much, there were some women's matches that were main eventing Rampage in the final in the last hour. So women are getting more and more television time, not just in matches, but also for segments and for backstage interviews, which is good. The AEW is now, it did take them a while, but they are finally really structuring. They're finally understanding how to do their women's division much better. I mean, because
it kind of sucks though. Like the moment their women's division gets better, their tag team division takes a hit.
Well, I think the problem is it really does fall down to their TV time. I don't know what constraints they have to work with, because as much as I know people complain about ROH being behind a paywall, but if people even watch Ring of Honor, you definitely see they not only do they have a structured tag division, they have a great women's division and a singles division. They know how to. They're actually doing very well in the women's division. The fact that their Ring of Honor television title is almost. I mean, despite Athena's long reign with the women's belt, the television.
She's had that for so long, hasn't she?
Yeah, over a year, I believe now. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's coming up to being on, at least I believe in the record books, one of the longest reigning champions in ROH history. Like she's already there, but she's climbing when it comes with numbers. And just looking, and then with the ROH Women's television title, that too is being built as another important belt. and it's even working in her current storyline with Billy Starks. When Billy lost the belt to Red Velvet, Athena stripped her of her minion. She demoted her. She demoted her back to minion in training. Huh? Yeah, she did. Billy Starks lost it to Red Velvet.
Interesting.
Which is another female wrestler who's part of the AEW roster that who is also getting her due. Red Velvet. She is fantastic. Her, Queen Amata, they are incredible. And then also in Ring of Honor, Layla Hirsch and Diamante had one hell of I'm not sure if it was a death match or if it was a hardcore match, but it was very entertaining.
Fight Without Honors?
Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Yeah. Fight Without Honors. I'm pretty sure that's
I believe so. I believe that is it. I believe that's it. But I'm just saying, like, look, people can complain about ROH being behind the paywall, but if you actually watch what they're doing, honestly, it is very, very good. It reminds me of the days when NXT was behind the paywall, where they were able to not worry about TV time. They can structure that. See, that's one of the, as much as we want something available to us on television or for free, I'm just saying, you have something behind a paywall, they deal less with ads because they're structuring their whole show within the time constraints that they're given. Unlike television, where it's literally
and that's kind of why I get pissed off with people online using this person will be in Ring of Honor in a few months as a bad thing.
Yeah, people really are trying so hard to demean Ring of Honor as.
But nobody has problems when WWE stars go down to NXT.
Well, some people were saying that with AEW talent, like, oh, we're going to expect him in NXT soon once his contract runs out. I'm like, at this point, NXT and Ring of Honor are being very disrespected amongst this fan base, and I don't understand that. That's something we can talk about later on, but let's get on to the main card.
Yeah, so we opened up with the 4-way London Ladders match for the AEW Trios Championships. The champions, the Patriarchy, takes on Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club, the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson, Austin and Colton Gunn, and the House of Black. This is a perfect match to kick off the night because it's a spot fest. So many people in there, and the crowd is high intensity.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely there to set the energy and the pace for the show. One thing that definitely kind of, I don't know if it was a limitation of the stadium or it was just something that they couldn't do, but the size of the ladders that they brought in the ring, like I mean, the way the trios tiles were hung, I'm thinking to myself, it's a lot lower than it normally is. But then I'm thinking, oh wait, this is a stadium show, so they don't have to deal with, because when you're in arenas that are closed open arenas, it's easier to work from the rafters how high and how when you want to hang something. So once I remembered it was an open like air arena, I let it go. So I'm like, okay, it's not going to be as high as it wants to, but I think they'll still do something good with this match. And yes, there were some very good spots in this match.
Juice bringing out the giant mega ladder that hits the fucking belts.
That honestly was funny. I'm thinking, but at the same time, I'm going, that's also smart because now it's less difficult for them to do. It's less difficult for them to climb.
Yeah, this match was very fun. Nick Wayne impressed the hell out of me.
God,
you're freezing a little bit.
Oh, am I better now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
Nick Wayne impressed the hell out of me with that, which you were right, you called it. Him hitting the Wayne's World off of the ladder happened at one point onto somebody. That sliding Canadian Destroyer was brilliant.
Yeah, I believe he did two wings. He did Wayne's World off of two big spots. One, I believe he did it off of a turnbuckle to the outside.
Through a table. Yeah,
through a table. And then, I did call that he did that he was going to do that off of a ladder. It's mainly because the way Nick Wayne does that move, to me, I'm thinking to myself, there is no way in hell you can't have him do that, not do a spot off a ladder in the match.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite spots, Christian gets the hairspray from Mother Wayne and uses it, and then when she tries to use it on Juice Robinson, he puts the chair up and then sprays her with it. Brilliant.
And then he was gonna put her through a table until Killswitch
Rhino style.
Yeah.
Rhino style. Like he was gonna pile driver her through that table.
But then Killswitch stops him and then chokeslams him, which unfortunately these tables, man, wow, they are more fragile at the legs than they were the whole body, because I didn't see any table break, honestly, except for that spot where Christian spears Buddy Matthews, even though the corner of the table had broken.
And Christian hit his face like right on that fucking table.
Yeah, I honestly thought he may have cut himself, but no, he looked fine. I will say this match, it did have a good little story thread here, which did play out. The constant times that Killswitch came very close to grabbing those belts, but Christian's ego was all like, no, take me up there, let me do it. And it did play into the finish, which I had to relook at. And another reviewer I watched had actually said during the play-by, that moment when Christian wanted Killswitch to put him up the ladders again and have him on his shoulders, and when we see Pac going up there, he said that Killswitch actually was holding Christian's leg, stopping him from climbing that led to Pac getting those titles. Now, I had to definitely relook at that. And in a way, the guy's not wrong or he's not far off, but it's really difficult to tell.
But, like, if he was actually trying to stop Christian, why would he help him later on?
Well, no, I think that's one of the confusing bits about this. I think for this, looking at this trios match only, I think this was Killswitch simply just going, I've had this match won for you so many times, but you keep stopping me. So I think that was just him like, I'm not giving you those titles. And I have a theory on why he helped him later on. And it's a bit of a stretch, but honestly, I think it will play in down the road. But as far as
one of my other favorite spots of this match was, speaking of Juice grabbing that big mega Jeff Hardy ladder, Christian knocking him over and him taking the worst, biggest crotch shot on those ropes. Ouch.
I was hoping that Juice was wearing a cup or a cod piece, because wow, not only did he land it, but he held there for a while. And I'm thinking myself,
and that was a long fall.
Yeah. Oh, I also forgot the guns themselves. Well, even earlier on in the match, when they were saying things, when they were bringing ladders, all of a sudden I'm hearing Austin, Colton, and Juice are yelling at each other. They're doing the Dudley Boy spot of get the tables, which the crowd was 100% behind.
After doing the what's up.
Yes, they did that too. I remember commentary was trying to pass that off of them learning that from the Acclaim, where I'm like, oh no, and then they corrected themselves. I think Shivani said it was something they got from the Acclaim, but then oh my god, Excalibur was like, Tony, no, that was a hit.
Yeah, because Tony thought originally that they were going for the Scissor Me Timbers.
Yeah,
he did that beforehand, and then he said, "Oh, never mind." And then you hear Taz going, "Well, I've seen that one before." Which, knowing how much Bully Ray actually respects AEW, like that's got to be a really cool moment for him as well.
It's kind of hard when Bully Ray kind of makes these weird takes on AEW every now and then. I'm like, does he actually respect his company?
He does, but it's not as bad as other people.
Yeah,
it's not as bad as like Eric Bischoff, for example.
Oh no, I've seen this guy. I've seen his thread. I've seen his thumbnails. He really has some weird obsession of taking shots at them. But I did remember, no, there was a spot where the tables did break, and that was when the guns had were on the Brody Lee and Luchasaurus's backs. They couldn't like choke them out. They looked at each other and they just
They
went,
were pointing.
guns up. And then they
They said guns up, and then they fell.
Yeah.
Dude, this match had a lot of great moments. But again, we got to move on. So Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club do win the Trios Championships. I heard some people say that Pac is going to join the group officially and be called the Bastard Combat Club. Yeah. Because, I mean, technically, without Regal there, like, Blackpool with them makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, like, that would make sense. This also kind of confirms to me that Lucha Bros are gone from AEW.
Yeah.
Because I have a theory that it was going to be Death Triangle that won this match before.
Oh, no, your theory has been confirmed because AEW had revealed that the original plan was for Death Triangle to win the belt at Wembley.
Oh. Okay. So I guess they had to change around because. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm talking over you. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I guess they still wanted to give Pac his moment, and they put him with the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. When Pac, and then even before this match happened, I'm like, is this for Pac to get his Wembley moment, or just to have him, or for him just to have a match on the card? But no, this was a good moment here, and especially given how with Pac, how AEW likes to touch on indie history. Like, you think that Eddie Kingston and Claudio have a unhealthy, like a heated rivalry. Pac and Claudio themselves, they also have a heated rivalry. So I always found it weird that they were paired. I found it weird they were paired together, and I thought Pac and Claudio might get each other's faces throughout that match, but no, they were on the same page.
Dude, I love that trio move that they did where Claudio did the swing, you had Yuta hit the drop kick, and then you had Pac hit the Black Arrow. That shows really good trio. Trio offense.
Yes, and that honestly could be a nice killer setup too. Like it's a back-to-back. Claudio does a swing, which disorients the opponent. Then Wheeler Yuta comes in with either a drop kick or can do an elbow on them just to slam them down, which gives them plenty of time for Pac to go up there for that Black Arrow. That's actually a nice 1-2-3 for a victory.
Mm-hmm. And I love it. So I'm super excited to see what they do with this this team. I hope that the House of Black isn't done because I really do like them. They have some really good moments too. Like Brody King is fucking over, man. You had the entire arena doing that hoot sound with him, which was fucking epic. All right, are you ready to move on to our next match?
Yeah, let's move on to our next match. And it is a big one.
Might be my second favorite match of the night. For the AEW Women's World Championship, Timeless Toni Storm, the champion, defends against the Glamour Mariah May. Toni doing the Shining inspired opening where it says it's her photo and it says Wembley 1954 or something like that.
Yes, it took
so
me a while
funny.
It took me a minute to catch that. I'm going, does this mainly just fit into her motif of her thinking that it's the the classic years of Hollywood were in the 20s and 30s and 40s, but and then I think I saw, because I was watching this on Bleacher Report, so and I was looking at the live chat, and one of them did say, "Is that also a nod to The Shining?" I go, interesting. And then I watched a few reviewers, and they also said it was like of The Shining. I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay.
Some people also said that, and I can see this. The camera angle in this one was weird because they focused on one section of the audience for
this is also one knock of this event. The camera angles, whoever's in charge of in the production truck really dropped the ball here because that camera angle that was focused on that one side of the audience, I was not sure if it was meant to be a cutaway or not, but they mainly could have just kept the camera center on the ring instead of that little crane shot. And there was even more moments when wrestlers were coming out of their entrances, having those little poses or those moments, and then we see a camera cut to the ring or a camera cut to the crowd, and I'm just like, that was one knock on this entire pay-per-view, is that whoever's in the booth really needs to realize there needs to be more moments where you're focusing on the wrestlers instead of trying to get the entire audience and the scope of the arena.
Yeah,
that's one downgrade I can say from last year's All In to this one. The camera cuts.
I also saw some people try to knock AEW for their attendance.
Of course, the attendance
again.
They were going
because you saw a lot of those red chairs in that moment. I don't either.
I don't. If they're gonna knock a wrestling promotion for not filling up a crowd, I'm sorry. No, not sorry. WWE, before Triple H was in power, they had so many empty seats, so many arenas that were half filled. So they want to easily just shine this up at AEW, really start looking at the company you say you love and you represent. At least with certain wrestling at least with other indie promotions like GCW and TNA, they're not afraid to show that they don't fill in every house, but they're at least going to put on a damn good show for it.
Mm-hmm. But also, like, I know some people are like, if they can't sell 80,000 tickets this year, there's no way they're going to sell out in Texas next year. And I'm like, you realize that the stadium that they're going to only has 40,000 seat capacity. They sold 54,000 tickets in Wembley.
Yeah.
So and still,
also the Arlington
I don't care. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you also look at the Arlington residency. The fact that they were able to always have a packed crowd. Every show on Collision, even casting for Rampage, and when they had the one show for Dynamite, I'm sorry, that was a huge success. And if you're gonna tell me that your goal, you think the fact that they can't sell out in Texas, the fact that All In, which everyone thought was simply just going to be a Wembley show over a crowd, is now going to be in the States. Yeah, dude, you're out of your mind if you think that's going to be the case.
And it's not only that, like they announced that they're doing Grand Slam in Australia, which is right, Australia?
Yes, Australia. I don't have the city, but it's in Australia.
Is that this year or next year?
It's next year. Next year, Grand Slam, February 15th in Australia. And then they did announce later on where next year...
Forbidden Door in London.
Yeah, Forbidden Door is going to be in London. And then All In's going to be in Texas. So there's your three big events there. And I actually like the fact that Forbidden Door is right there because it's great padding in between All In and All Out. But while Hunter steps up, I'm going to give some of my thoughts of this match between Toni Storm and Mariah May. First off, this was one of AEW's strongest stories going into this pay-per-view. The story they have set up from the top of this year with Mariah May becoming Toni Storm's protege. Mariah, like, really, I mean, of course, yes, the reference to the 1950s movie All About Eve. But seeing how well Mariah sold herself very well in that role of protege, how she took on every bit of likeness of Toni Storm when it came to the classic like the Toni Storm when she debuted in AEW. And then her character change leading in to this match. She comes in and she is 100%, you see the confidence flowing from her. Like, you can see in her head, even if she didn't win, she had the mentality that she was winning tonight, and she did not care who she insulted, who she walked over, who she ran over in this match in order to win the championship. Mariah came into
Tell her
this
mom
match.
that.
Oh yeah, she slapped her mom. She gave Nigel a kiss on the cheek.
Nigel getting that kiss. He's like, "Oh my god, I have to take a break."
Oh my god, that leads, I'm going to talk about that moment later on because it came across a tweet which I laughed my ass off at. But Mariah really was selling into the whole like she is now the star. This is her moment to shine, and she is going to destroy Toni to do it. And I love that with Toni when she comes back, Luther's returned as well. So you do see that with those
Luther had
moments.
one of the funniest moments in this fucking match. He takes the belt. Sorry, we're getting to the end a little bit,
But go ahead.
He takes the belt from Mariah, and you just see him flip her off, but you don't see his head. It's just a flying finger. Like,
well, yeah. So Mariah did use the belt on Toni, but even then, earlier on, like when Mariah had power bombed Toni on the outside of the ring, Luther wants to help. She just spits in Luther's face. It's like she's truly like the detestable heel, which were like very great moments. I know some people were kind of thrown off a bit, like why would she slap her own mother? To me, I thought it was like, oh, it's very clear. Mariah, it's all about her. She doesn't give a damn about anybody who's there.
Yeah, she doesn't care about anybody.
Yeah.
And also, if you had her just, go up and hug her mom, show affection to her mom, that would completely ruin her character.
Exactly. Mariah was there to be in character. Yeah, she showed affection to Nigel because Nigel has been pretty much one of the outcrying supporters of Mariah May. So, yes, that fits well into her character. She kissed Nigel because Nigel was adoring her. It really played well into this motion of All About Eve that she's been doing. And even in this match, she was actually dominating most of the match, like against Toni Storm, which is which was an interesting dynamic in this one.
Dude, so after Mariah slaps her mom, Toni, so funny, goes up and hugs her mom. Mariah's
mom. Yeah, because after Toni has her comeback, she does the embrace with the mother, which is fantastic. I thought it. I mean, it was so for me. I'm like, oh, it's really cementing Toni is more of a true baby face now, with Mariah being the heel.
Dude, and then Toni hits the Storm Zero on the fucking stairs. Man, that was nasty.
I thought that was good because earlier on, before she did that, she did the whole thing of banging Mariah's head into the steps, which, I'm sorry, the camera angle on that one was bad because we're clearly seeing her hands are hitting the steps before her head. That was another failure of the camera for me, where I'm like, no, change the direction to where you see at least on the side or a little bit to an angle to where her head is hitting there.
Back behind Toni. So you just Toni like driving her head.
Yeah, or hell, have a cameraman in the ring where you have like a bit of an overhead shot to where you're seeing her pounding, where she's doing those repeated head slams into the steel step. And then it could have been a good overhead shot where you see Toni do the Storm Zero on there.
Dude, so that Storm Zero looks stiff as fuck. And I love the kind of story element of this feud started when Mariah made Toni bleed. And in this match, Toni made Mariah bleed.
Yeah. That's why you had that moment of her embracing the mom. So the camera focus is there. So when it went back, Mariah is busted open. And then Toni does have those hopeful spots in the match. And that was like her comeback there. And then Mariah gets desperate.
Yeah, so Mariah gets desperate. She the match pretty much ends with Mariah hitting the Storm Zero on Toni to pick up the victory after Toni. She had the heel in her hand. She couldn't bring herself to hit Mariah with it. Mariah took advantage of that, hit the Mayday, and then hit the Storm Zero for Mariah May to pick up the win and new AEW Women's World Champion, the Glamour Mariah May. I'm super excited to see what she does with the belt because I could see so many great challengers for her. You could do a rematch with Toni if you really wanted. You could do Jamie Hayter, which would be a fucking banger of a match. Thunder Rosa could be another great defense for Mariah. what I would love to see, Mariah versus Mina Shirakawa. I think having Mariah turn on Mina and then having her go one on one with Mariah for the title would be fucking epic. Sorry, I was just talking as you were
Oh
going. But
no,
I was saying,
I heard you. Yeah, you were talking about Mina versus Mariah, which honestly doesn't surprise me if that's where they're going next, because during the match they did show Mina watching the match with sitting next to Rachel Ellering, but
yeah,
Mina was,
Rachel Ellering was there too.
yeah. But it's kind of interesting though, because Mina just recently won the Rev Pro British Women's Wrestling Championship. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that's when they had that in the caption. Mina, Rev Pro Women's Wrestling Champion. So,
oh, that's cool.
yeah, so she's won that championship from that promotion. So it's really interesting. She's won a belt from Mariah's hometown. I don't know if she's gonna be doing dates there, Reese, because it seems to me she no longer has any She's not holding the championships from Stardom anymore. So maybe I think her commitment with Stardom is done to where maybe she'll start being more open on dates to work in AEW and of course defend the Rev Pro title. So it would not surprise me sometime this sometime this year we might see more of Mina on the car on AEW.
Yeah, I really want to see Mariah versus Mina. I think that could be a blood feud that could lead to like World's End if you start it early enough. I also think if you're looking for just a match that's just going to put on a show, Mariah defending the title against Jamie Hayter would be a fucking brawl for the title, and I'm all here for it.
I think here is my thing. I think Jamie is going to be the one to dethrone Mariah, so they can give her that run again. That's what I think. I think Jamie might be in line to dethrone Mariah, become a 2-time champion since she came back. But at the same time, there are some women in there, like we have Thunder and Diana who are doing their feuds. When that's over, they'll be going after the belt. And then depending on, because I think for Thunder Rosa, I don't know if she wants to solely wrestle in AEW, because she is more interested in doing lots of dates outside of AEW.
Yeah.
But like I said, it really depends on what's going to move forward with Mariah.
All right, so let's move on to our next. Well, actually, what did you think of the ending of this match with Mariah winning with the Storm Zero?
It fits with her character, because during the build-up, she was pretty much mimicking everything of Toni, from the way that she dressed to even doing the cinematic video packages. So it made sense for me that
this
Mariah
is also a moment that the camera angle screwed up significantly when she was going for the hip tax in this match, and she did
the storm pose.
Instead of doing the close up, it did like a wide shot, so we didn't see what it was.
Wide shot, yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of like what they used to do with the Best Friends.
Yeah, I'm like, why not just do a close in on that one if she's mocking Toni Storm?
That's what shows a failure to whoever is in charge in the truck. Either was it just somebody either it was someone who works at Wembley and it could not have been an AEW person, because it definitely seems to me this person is unfamiliar with how AEW likes to run their stuff, because it was really off-putting at times.
Even the Okada shot in the Gauntlet match was weird. Like it didn't zoom out; it just zoomed in when he did the flip off.
Well, yeah, we need to see him flip off somebody.
Well, no, but like normally he does this. It does the Rainmaker shot, and then it comes in close.
Oh no, he's actually been doing that a couple of times actually. Yeah, there have been times I believe in when he's wrestled. Every time he went to go for the Rainmaker, no, he fake out and do the finger flip. So that was.
I know, but normally it would zoom out a little bit, then zoom in when he does the finger. This one just zoomed right into it.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying. I think it was more of a. I think this just leads to. I think with how everything went throughout the entire pay-per-view, it does say to me that Yeah, they just had Wembley just had their own production crew available,
Mhm.
so that's how they were working the show. They didn't have anyone from AEW there. Oh, maybe for oversight. It was just more of the arena and the stadium had their own production crew, so and their own people in charge, so that's how they were going to do it. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate that there wasn't someone from AEW there to at least do oversight to be
Mhm.
like, okay, focus on this moment. Okay, focus here. Focus there. Make sure the camera's ready for this story beat. But at least for the finish of this match, they did a good job holding when Tony was having a hard time using the shoe. Which to
Mhm.
me, I'm like, it's a great story moment, but I'm also going like, wait, would she get disqualified if she does that?
Yeah, she will because it was in front of the ref.
Yeah, but it was just kind of those things. Like if this was made as a no DQ match, then that moment would have been a little more powerful because then I wouldn't have to worry about the ref being in the goddamn way of Tony wanting to do it or not. But
Yeah, I don't know.
Small gripes though.
Yeah, that didn't bother me as much. I just like, you know, the fact that Tony couldn't do what Mariah did to her is a great story beat by itself. That I love it because it shows that like Tony still cares about Mariah. Like it wasn't fake to Tony. Like she loved Mariah as if she was her own.
And then when the match was over, Mariah won. Tony got that got the well, I won't say standing. Well, in a way, standing ovation from the crowd. They were cheering her as she left the ring. But even then, you saw a little bit of character moment with her, to where it looks like, I think Tony said that on commentary. I think she's looks like she's not losing her mind, but I think she's becoming a little more diluted from reality. I think he dropped Norma Desma, which was Sunset Boulevard, and I'm like, if that is the next path for Tony Storm to take, and I've seen Sunset Boulevard, that is going to be fucking incredible for Tony to go that road.
I've never seen it. What is that movie about?
I will just give you the basis. Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard is a Hollywood actress who is in the twilight of her years. She's secluded. She's isolated from everything else. She's no longer the star that she was, but she's delusional to think that she's still wanted in Hollywood. There's that famous line.
This story is gonna be good.
Yeah, there's some quotes from her. The quote you probably heard. I'm ready for my close up, Mr. DeVille.
Close up.
That's said from Norma Desmond's character in Sunset Boulevard. And this also another line she said, I am big. It's the pictures that got small. That's also another line from her. So if that was
Tony goes this way, oh my god.
I don't know if Shivani said that as a comparison, but if that truly is the next step where Tony Storm is going to go, I am 100% going to be fucking ready for that. Because I would love it.
I mean, it could be because they talked about All About Eve being a huge inspiration for this feud. So, Sunset Boulevard, Tony being in the twilight of her career after losing to Mariah, and she slowly starts losing her mind.
Star, she sees herself. Yeah, the way is the movie star, which would work. And also, I mean, the thing about All About Eve, the film, is that even towards the end, the character Eve ends up taking a protege of her own, which also hints that it's going to lead to her downfall. So it could kind of be like a full circle move.
What if?
But it's towards the ending of the film. Actually, it doesn't show Eve in the downfall. It just shows at the end she finds someone else to take under her wing, and so the implication is that it's a circle. It's going to be a cycle of abuse to where her protege is going to do to her to what Eve did to Betty Hughes' character.
Realistically, you could take that and make that the next Mariah feud going. Where like she takes a protege under her wing, like thinking she's like big time, like she's becoming Tony.
Yeah.
And then you have, if you ever want to turn Mariah face, like down the line, that's where you could do it.
Well, no, I think Mariah could stay as a heel for a while. But like I said, it's just no, I know what you mean down the road, but I think Mariah could at least hold as a heel all the way to next year, honestly. But I think all in all, I did thoroughly enjoyed this match.
I also
Great
heard
storytelling beats.
I also heard that with All In being in Texas next year, the one match I hope to see, if they figure out a way to do it, I want Mariah May versus Athena for the AEW Women's World Championship.
At this point, Athena, she has done everything she has for ROH.
Mm-hmm.
She should honestly be the next person in line. Actually, I would love to see Athena and Thunder Rosa like in the main event or challenge for championships for Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I don't know how long Thunder Rosa's contract is, but I would love to see her at least still be with AEW all the way to All In for 2025.
Yeah, because Athena was at the announcement when they announced that All In was going to be in Texas. So, like, how cool would it be if she got her Texas moment, like at All In next year?
Not just that, but have her bring the Minion School onto Dynamite and Rampage. Like her dynamic with Billy Starks and Lexi Nair is funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting. Having her take some women's wrestlers and slowly bring them into her Minion School, calling them MIT's Minion Trainings. You know, I'm your Minion Overlord.
I got to start watching Ring of Honor.
I've checked out only a couple of shows every now and then through torrent, but beyond that, it is very interesting what the programs they have, the matches they're doing, the tag teams and trios that they set up there. Honestly, I mean, the fact that Dustin Rhodes is a double champion in Ring of Honor, he is a great pillar to really build the 6-man and tag team around.
Yep. All right, let's move on to our next match, which, gotta be honest, didn't really watch this match fully, but from what I saw, I did enjoy it.
I was messaged 3 times that this was the piss break match.
Chris Jericho versus Hook for the FTW Championship. This match had a few pretty decent spots. It wasn't as bad as I heard it being.
Yeah, it wasn't as terrible.
I love Jericho's gimmick of in FTW matches matching what's in the black bag with where he is, like location wise. I think this one was cricket balls.
Yes, cricket balls and a cricket bat on the side, or at least on the cricket bat flat, and it says, "Hi guys."
Hi guys. Yeah. Big Bill taking multiple spots in this match. By the way, Big Bill is so over right now, and it's so good to see.
Well, he's really liked in the UK. That's the thing. Yeah, they like in the Whale show on Collision, they were over the moon for Big Bill. Big Bill was doing his heel stuff, and then the crowd just chants back, "We still love you."
By the way, I love Brian Keith. I think that the gimmick he's doing now of being like the aggressive Bad Apple is hilarious. One of my favorite lines from him was a few weeks back when Jericho was talking about he was going to put something up Hook's ass, and Brian Keith goes, "Up his ass."
Yeah. The Brian Keith in small doses has really, personally for me, like, look, Jericho's gimmick was good, I will say, but then towards the middle, when he was solely focused surrounding Hook and not, doing this little delusional veteran to work with any of the other young guys, because I thought he was going to have a program with Private Party, because when they had that one with him on TV time with Jericho, but it was just a one-off. To me, Jericho, his thing shouldn't be focused on one person for a long stretch of time. If he wants to keep using this gimmick, now that he no longer has the FTW championship, to anyone who hasn't watched, Hook won, he retained it by tapping Jericho out. But for Jericho, if he's going to continue this learning tree gimmick, it really has to spread out to other talent, or maybe some veterans who really don't need the rub from Jericho.
Some may say it's going to branch out. See what I did there?
What's the setup? I knew it was there. I was setting you up.
Yeah. I love this ending because we have been talking about Taz doing something,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that him and Hook got to share this moment is really cool. Taz gets up, breaks the fucking microphone when he stands up. He stands up too fast.
Yeah.
Uh,
And the
and puts
crowd,
Brian
that
Keith.
crowd popped when they like the moment the camera did turn and they saw Kaz going to Brian Keith, that pop from the crowd came. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And then him putting him in that little Taz mission submission was
The
great.
Kati Hashime.
Mm.
Yes. Dude, Brian Keith's reaction when he gets put in that mouth wide open, eyes bugged out, fantastic.
Yeah, that's the show. Brian Keith is taking something, and he's just like, yeah, He's truly running with it. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, to me, he could be the standout from this little learning tree thing. Even though I hope they're going to do something with Bill after this, because Bill, he is definitely someone they could. I mean, I thought they were going to do something with him when it was him and Starks as champions, but to me, it was kind of like
Have
a
you heard
mixed
anything
bag.
about Starks yet?
No, I think he's still sitting out his contract.
That sucks,
Honestly,
man. He's so
if
good.
Stark is going to do business, I personally think he should feud with Jericho just to run out his contract because he has unfinished business with Big Bill. Or I don't know. After they lost the titles, Starks was off TV for like months, and now of course the talk is that he's not gonna renew. Like, okay, if he's not gonna renew, I'd at least like to see him on TV a little bit. But if he's gonna stay at home, he's gonna
And
stay
of
at
course
home.
he's going to NXT thing.
See, yeah, that's someone else they said. I'm like, no, Starks, he's a guy who's great on the mic. He has the style for television. As much as NXT is good, look, I'm gonna be honest, Starks is someone who will easily eclipse anybody on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like what Ethan Page is doing right now on NXT. He shows up there, and within 50, 60 days, he was immediately given the championship. I'm like, no. Look, he's a bit. I mean, look, on NXT, at least he's building his name, he's building his brand to the audience. So at least the WWE fans can get used to him. To us indie fans, well, I'm not an indie fan, but I'm a casual indie fan. So I'm familiar with what Ethan Page can do. I still remember him and Josh Alexander as the North as one of the longest reigning tag champions in TNA. And I was looking forward to when he was still with AEW, I thought they were really going to build him as their top guy on Ring of Honor. But, that didn't work out. So if Ricky Starks does go to WWE, which may not happen, he's someone who immediately needs to be on that main roster. But I swear to God, if it's kind of like the people are going to, if I hear people chant, "Who are you?" when Ricky Starks does a promo on WWE, guess what? Guess what, you drone fans? You lost any fucking credibility to think that anyone who jumped ship from AEW to WWE will get that recognition pop. So no longer with your ex-WWE guys or with when it comes to AEW or TNA. Because you know why? Because at least those fans know who those people are.
Yeah. And again, I will say this again. WWE is now becoming a place for ex-AEW guys. You don't like it, do you? When I say that, because I know it's not true.
Well, I mean, who knows? But you know what? We could mainly just be talking about a very tiny minority of people who are having their voices echoed and multiplied because of social media. To be honest, but beyond that, this match, really nothing interesting in this match outside of the cricket balls, the cricket bat, and Taz showing up. Oh yeah, and Hook does that spot where he peels the kinesiology tape and reveals, "Oh, his eye was fine."
Yeah,
Moxley did it better.
That's the John Moxley spot.
Yeah, Moxley did that
against
better
Jericho.
Against Jericho. But to me, it's kind of like I think Hook rushed a little bit towards that spot, or it was a bad moment because when he could have done that right in front of Jericho, because what Bill to it was after I think when he took care of Bill, Jericho gouged him in his one eye. And so Jericho thought, oh, I took him out. And then he could just peeled it off right in front of him and just goes, oh, no, I can see well out of this eye. And then attack Jericho. But, most of these matches have small gripes for me to pick apart. So that's all I have to say about this one.
All right, let's move on to our next match. For the AEW World Tag Team Championships, it's a three-way match. The Young Bucks defending against FTR and the Acclaimed. I actually liked this match. I thought it was a really fun multi-man match. One of my favorite spots was in the middle of the match. Nick Jackson gets taken out. So Matt Jackson has
Caster to do the EVP
Caster do
trigger.
the EVP trigger, and Taz on commentary with the funniest line saying, "Is Max Caster an EVP now? I am not answering to Max Caster."
But then later on, then just seconds after, Max does a Shatter Machine.
Shatter Machine.
Yes. So it was just one of those where Caster's just kind of like, hey, this is a match. The more I help you guys, it makes it easier for me to pin you.
I kind of wish they continued that though, like them stealing other tag team maneuvers. Like
it would have been very interesting to see all of a sudden Max hold somebody and then Nick Jackson on the turnbuckle. And he's like, "Do the scissor me, daddy. Do the
scissor me
timbers. Scissor me timbers."
Speaking of Billy Gunn hitting a fucking phaser on Nick Jackson or Matt Jackson?
Oh, which one had the? Oh wait, because they both came out in Beatles Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Club gear. I believe Matt was in yellow and Nick was in blue.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because if it was in blue, then it was Nick Jackson that took the hit.
Dude, that Famouser on the title, he just like landed on his head.
Oh no, it was green. Sorry, Matt was in green. Sorry. Go ahead.
That spot was awesome. I know some people don't like Billy Gunn. I fucking love Billy Gunn, and I think he's having so much fun with this gimmick right now.
Yeah. I mean, Billy Gunn's not just there taking a paycheck. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's also a producer backstage and a talent agent backstage. So he is doing some work with the backstage, making sure things are going well, and also having him paired with the Acclaimed, not just for the scissor me daddy ass thing, but also he is the veteran. He's the mentor for the Acclaimed as a tag team. So it really does work.
Also, I know this kind of rubbed me the wrong way too. I know the hate for Billy Gunn started after he beat Jay White.
Honestly, I don't understand this hate. People are just like, Jay White's fantastic. Jay White's gonna be the man. Look, Jay White, he is going the route he is right now. I think he actually had good chemistry with the Guns. Although to me, he and Juice were always like the odd pairing, but they did great tag matches together. Their 2 out of 3 falls match against FTR was
fantastic.
Was amazing. Stood out last year on Collision. So if this, by the time, and I did read reports that Jay White is healed, so I think he is close to being medically cleared.
Yeah, so he was supposed to be on this card. Yeah. But he wasn't 100%. He was supposed to be in the gauntlet match, but they didn't want him to re-aggravate an injury, so they had him sit out for
is a smart thing. Okay, now that I'm remembering, no, Billy Gunn, he did that on Matt Jax. He did that on Matt. He did the famous around Matt, yeah. Because like I said, the green trunks, the green outfit, it was Matt that got it. But even Jay White. And that was a smart pull for them for Jay White, because the fact that Grand Slam is going to be in Australia, and he's from New Zealand, I believe.
New Zealand, yeah.
But even then, he's still within the air. He still lives. He's still New Zealand's not that far off from Australia, so he could still be that guy to do like the hometown pops,
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say him and the winner of the main event would have been a great match, but Darby already has that match at Grand Slam.
Yeah, but I will say throughout this entire match, I truly believed. Oh, I'm sorry.
Grand Slam is next year.
Yes,
in
next
Australia,
year,
right?
Next year, February 15th.
They could still do that match.
Well, Well, that's gonna be it will be interesting to see how they do it. But one thing I was so sure that the Acclaim would walk out with the championships. Honestly, I was so sure about that because I felt that as much as I don't mind seeing FTR and Young Bucks do their back and forth, it really did get to the point to where they are absorbing too much of the spotlight. I mean, Bucks are on Dynamite, FTR's on Collision, so yeah, they're the top tag teams in there on those shows. But it came down to where, like, yeah, we truly need new blood with the belts. Not just with the belt, but new blood to really lead the division. But then I'm thinking about it. But then after the match was over, I'm thinking about it. It really wouldn't hurt with the Bucks because they can still do their EVP thing. I think they're going to build to a pay-per-view to where the Bucks, Jack Perry, and Kazuchika are going to lose everything.
I think that's coming up as well. Seeing what happened after the match, I wouldn't have minded if FTR took the belts here. Because an FTR, and by the way, the Young Bucks won with the EVP trigger on one of the Acclaims, correct?
It was Dax.
Oh, it was Dax? Okay. Yes. So Young Bucks retained. Then, right after, the grizzled young veterans come and stare down with the Young Bucks. And this is why I say it would have been cool if FTR won the belts, because FTR wins the belts, and then GYV comes out and attacks them and holds the belts up, and then you do a feud where it's literally the best tag team in America versus the best tag team in Europe going 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, I guess, for the tag titles.
Yeah, I know what you meant. I know what you mean.
2 out of 3 falls. You just let them go 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah. But even then with the Young Bucks, it still works because they're called the grizzled young veterans. And so in a way, I mean, yeah, it's still with young on both on their teams. It's a little too on the nose. But even then, these guys, they want to make a statement. I think the only downside of that was this crowd, as much as they popped so well, I am amazed that I did not see a pop for these guys. I did not hear a pop.
They did have a pop, didn't they?
It wasn't as loud as I thought it was going to be because these guys are from UK. But I'm guessing, after the match is over, maybe they were just a little deflated because the next match after this was the gauntlet match. But I did like the stare down though, because these men they came in, they're making themselves known, they're declaring their intentions.
They're not in stupid face paint.
Oh, the little jab back to what they used to be. Yes. Well, it wasn't just that, but also the fact that these guys, they were so good on NXT UK. And people so many of these minority of haters always like to toss around the word fumbled so much. Oh, this was fumbled, that was fumbled, they fumbled this, TK fumbled that, Trips fumbled this. I'm like, guys, you don't know what a fucking fumble is. Look at Vince McMahon's NXT 2.0. Some of the acts there were complete.
That was a fumble.
Look, there were some good things from Vince running that, but grizzled young vets cutting their hair, having to wear face paint, being a part of a faction was not one of them. Having Kyle O'Reilly being fumbled out of the main card, just so some young guys can take his place, that was a fumble. Look, I have nothing against Mandy when she was champion, but the fact that she wins a unification match against a truly good veteran like Meiko Satomura, to me, didn't make sense. Well, that was in a triple threat match, so she had an easy win. So she could have won either way.
We're getting off topic again.
Yeah, I'm getting off topic again. I'm sorry. I'm truly getting off topic. But back on the Grizzled Young Vets, they had a great standout showing on Collision. I believe it was against FTR, and they lost.
Was it against FTR? I don't think they've ever fought before.
No. They did have a match on Collision against a tag team.
They did.
I think it was the Acclaimed or
I'm looking it up right now.
I'm gonna rack my brain over this, but beyond that, if I don't know if this means that they're more, if their contracts are opening them up more for wrestling dates, but I know they are without a doubt a fresh injection into the tag team division, which
The Acclaimed. You were right.
Yeah, it was the Acclaimed. Yeah, they are a fresh injection into the tag division. I mean, as far as when it comes with, tag team specialists, they are going to really help. Well, I won't say really help, but I hope they're going to be that nice little edge given to the tag division of technical wrestlers. I mean, yeah, having them go up against FTR, that will be an incredible match. But, time will tell. Time will tell for us. So let's move on to the match we definitely need to talk about.
Yes. The Casino Gauntlet match. So I have the order of the participants. We start with number 1, Orange Cassidy.
Oh, he had a good entrance though. Like he had that little open video, that open video package of him being dropped onto onto his like drawn out face, and then him
the Mr. Bean entrance.
Yes, but then even then when he came out, the music on the Titantron, if you looked, he had rules down. Like there were some extra things written down there. It's like rule number 1, there are no rules, which was hilarious. And then they brought back his sloth pyro with that one little pyro going up.
Oh yeah, they did.
That great overhead shot.
I love the overhead shots they used on this night.
Yeah, those were the ones I definitely enjoyed. It was just felt to me like, man, if the production can really hold on these wrestlers and then focus and then widen out some of those moments like the lazy pyro shot, then you definitely can make it work. I mean, some of the camera shots here were kind of an improvement. But yeah, Orange Cassidy's little back screen really is displaying his mental state. Because at first it says freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, then goes, I don't know. Rule number 1, there are no rules. Rule number 2, sometimes you gotta do it. And then it gets back to his original stuff, like put a cool move here, And then Orange, he comes out not in the all denim blue. He is wearing black, all black.
Is this like a mental breakdown of Orange Cassidy?
Well, yeah, because throughout the most of this year, Trent betrayed him. He retired Chuck Taylor. Chris Statlander turned her back on him. He had that little mini feud. I mean, Don Callis has been slowly. I mean, that time when Don Callis was attempting to recruit him. And then, of course, when the best friends are no longer anymore, but then he joins the conglomeration to where he's just like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Like he's just there he's with those guys by association. He's not trying to be friends with anybody. So then, like at first he was like in the light blue, then the best friends were falling apart. Then the blue got darker. So and then the t-shirt was no longer a white t-shirt. He was wearing a black t-shirt with his face on it.
I love this kind of these small tweak changes.
Exactly. It's really like this really is saying Orange Cassidy's like character choices is really telling you all, pay attention. Don't wait. He's not going to cut a promo. Okay, guys? Whenever you see a change in his character, it's going to be in his physical mannerisms.
Whoa.
Exactly. So whenever I see these posts of people say, I came across this one Twitter post where it says storytelling is more important than in-ring wrestling. The guy is obviously whoever's
you need both.
Yeah, but the person who wrote that, I was like, this man is spoiled on television wrestling. He's never watched local independent wrestling to where, guess what? Sometimes you go to an independent show, you're not going to get promos or storytelling. You're just simply going to get matches. And even if you see an independent show on YouTube, you think they're going to waste their time with the limited time constraints to have someone come out there, cut 5 to 7 minute promos, take up 10 minutes of time? But I'm getting over myself here. It just when it comes down to storytelling, You can see when wrestlers are doing storytelling, it's in the ring, and it's also with their physical mannerisms, which Orange Cassidy
Mhm.
does without having to cut a promo, which is why he is such an he's an over act.
And this is why I love about AEW is that you have the small changes, you have the small story details in the ring, but then you've also got guys like MJF who will do 15, 20-minute promos. That also tells a story.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of both. Number
Right.
two was Kazuchika Okada, which I love. I love that it started from both of them because both of them were former members of Chaos in New Japan. Okada goes for the hug and then
the smile,
smiles, and then does the frown. And then
once it's that hard cam. Oh my! And I even love too, like you seeing Cassidy himself. He's hesitant at first, like he's just like, oh whatever. And then you do see him. He actually has a big open smile as he goes in for that hug. And then Kazuchika does the whole, and then attacks him.
Dude, I am so sick of people saying that AEW is ruining Okada. Okada is like one of the funniest heels in AEW.
When people say that, to me, it's really like they've never really truly watched Okada. Because New Japan, is limited as it is when it comes with when they show stuff on television, Okada is honestly a funny dude.
Dude,
go ahead.
One of my favorite Okada moments is, I don't remember who it was against, but he like messed up someone's entrance. He popped up. I messed up. I'm so sorry.
It was to be acclaimed. Yeah, it was to be acclaimed. Max was gonna do his rap, and then it cuts it, and then it has that stuff in the back where he's just like, "Oh, I messed up."
He goes, "I'm so sorry, bitch." I love that. I love that Okada is getting the word "bitch" over.
Oh yeah, he shuts down people with that. Like my favorite response. I mean, one of my still top favorites. And if people are gonna watch this, I don't care your feelings. But when that crowd was chanting CM Punk, he just goes, "Shut up, bitches!
Shut up, bitches!" Number 3 surprised the fuck out of me, but I'm so glad to see this dude. Nigel McGuinness comes out for the Casino Gauntlet.
Oh man,
dude, he looked so good in that ring. So fucking technically smooth.
Yeah. I knew he was gonna have some ring rust going in, which is I'm like still thinking, even if he shows up, I'm like, this is still a great opportunity. He can have moments with some of these wrestlers in the ring, and then it could be moments to where he's doing tie-ups or he's knocked out. I'm like, still show that Nigel, he's physically back, but at the same time, let him get that ring rust out and, see what it's like to be back in that ring.
I didn't see any ring rust. I didn't see any ring rust.
I mean, there were some moments where he wasn't on. To me, it looked like he wasn't on pace with, like, he wasn't on the same speed as some of the wrestlers. That's just me, Like when I'm seeing, like when he was doing the old school British little thing with Okada. Like I'm like, oh, he's still keeping up very well, but he's not being as fluid as I would normally see it. That's what I mean. He's not like at the speed yet. I don't mean. I guess I do need to clarify when I say ring rust. I'm not saying he needs a breather in order to do tie-ups or anything like that. No, he's on there. It's just when it comes to when he's doing like the fluid of motion spots, that's where I'm seeing, that's at least in my mind where I see ring rust. I think that's one of the things with AEW I watch so much when I'm seeing wrestlers doing these constant spots where it's so much all fluid in motion, especially seeing like with Private Party, Darby Allin, Young Bucks when they get going, Top Flight, Leo Rush, I mean, that's just me. But beyond that, Nigel as a technical wrestler is still someone where I'm like, yeah, you give him more and more. Well, I don't think they're gonna immediately just go all the way with him. I think this was for two moments. One, to show everyone that he is fucking medically cleared. And then 2, to give him that nice UK hometown welcome.
Dude, that pop for Nigel was insane.
Because I heard that music and I go, who is that? But the crowd, I'm like,
yeah, me
they
too.
know who this is.
Well, probably because they saw the name on the thing before we did. But, dude, this is a great camera shot, by the way. This is the one props I give it to. It starts at the crowd. You hear the music. I'm not sure who it is. And then they pan up, and you see the Titantron above the ring with Nigel McGuinness's name on it. The slow zoom from the crowd reaction. Yeah. From the crowd reaction, zooms up to see the name, and then pans to the entranceway. That was well done.
Yes.
Number 4 was Kyle O'Reilly. Love Kyle O'Reilly. Number 5 actually surprised me too. Zack Sabre Jr., who recently won the G1 Climax this year.
Climax. I was seeing the Classic for some reason.
Dude. The moment that Zack Sabre Jr. and Nigel McGuinness were in the middle of the ring, and you heard that pop, they didn't do anything yet. That was awesome. And then when they started going traditional British wrestling against each other, this is where I was saying that Nigel didn't have any ring rust. Because he was going hold for hold with Zack Sabre Jr. in the middle of that ring.
Yeah, that moment, I'm like, you know what? Screw what I thought when he did that little lockup with Okada. This was like, oh no, yeah, like he just needs like, it wasn't like the right opponent, right chemistry, but I'm like, no, someone who understands the British wrestling style like he does, and I'm like, fuck, that was amazing. But also seeing Zack Sabre Jr. there was a true surprise for me. Like, I honestly thought it was going to be a mix of AEW talent. But when Zack Sabre Jr. shows up, I'm going, man, this truly can't. Oh, I did love when he shows up, though. It's Kyle and Orange staying in the ring. And Orange is kind of like, yeah, let's just welcome in. They hold the rope for him, but then he just goes on the other side.
That's so good. Next, we have Roderick Strong.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in like a house of fire. Then we had Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe is so over everywhere he goes, and he got a big pop in London.
Yeah, I honestly at first when I was watching, I had to quickly leave to run to the bathroom for a second, but then all of a sudden I'm hearing the crowd go, ah! I'm like, wait, who is it? And then I just hear the Briscoe music. I'm like, Mark Briscoe's in this, but I'm like, oh, I should have watched that moment if I didn't have to run to the bathroom.
Dude, he drops the ROH title on the floor and he runs to that fucking ring.
Oh yeah, he comes like a crazy man doing the redneck kung fu at everyone until Zack Sabre Jr. stands at him and he's just like, no, I'm just gonna put you in a wrist lock.
Yep. Next we have Hangman Adam Page.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in. Then of course, right after him, we had to have Jeff Jarrett, which Jeff Jarrett got a huge pop too. That surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch, he wrestled on Collision, and he also got a pop on that show as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really loved, I guess the crowd loves him, but also his subtle face turn was executed very well from the All In tournament.
It was, yeah.
From the Owen Cup tournament, like what I thought was mainly just going to be a one-off of him just being given this emotional promo about him and his relationship with Owen Hart, and then he loses the Page, and he thought that's going to be the end of it. But I loved how it continues on. He's like, no, I want this tournament to be won in honor of him, not just for the craziness of Hangman. And so he inserts himself, and even then he becomes a thorn. But beyond that, I mean, he comes out with Karen, and Karen just dressed in I couldn't tell if it was golden or if it was like a bright yellow dress. But yeah, they're walking to that ring, man. Yeah, they were soaking in the crowd. Yeah,
you could hear Jarrett talking to Hangman too. He was screaming like, "I'm coming to get you, Hangman."
And I swear, I thought I was hearing some of the crowd sing out "My World" for a second, which was
They
Jarrett's
were.
theme.
Yes, they
They
were.
were okay, because when I was hearing the "It's my world," I'm like, wait, is that an echo?
Yeah, the crowd was singing it with him, or singing his song back to him. It's so cool to see Jeff Jarrett like in this at his age, not only being able to still go at a decently high level, but he's getting over just based on one program he did in the tournament, and he lost in round one.
Yeah, but it definitely shows from when he was first introduced as just when as like kind of like as a foil to Sting. During when Sting and Darby Allin were a tag team, and then people were and then of course the whole little Texas Chainsaw Massacre match he had with Jeff Hardy. Like everyone was thinking,
bad.
Everyone, like some people were thinking, was Jeff just here to eat up time, like just to eat television time? I'm like, no. I mean, there were some credible like some people, there was some sense to that, but then at the same time, he has so much knowledge of the business that honestly, TK would have been nuts not to like lean on Jeff for some advice or like on some experience of someone who's run a company, who's at least run a television program, you know.
Who at one point
Jeff is
before
Hogan
came in,
he is a backstage agent, I believe.
And someone who at one point before Hogan came in was successfully running the number 2 program in wrestling with TNA.
Yeah, I mean TNA had its ups and downs, but you know it was on a really good. It was on fire. I mean when you had guys
before
there.
Hogan and them came in.
Yeah.
Next we had, of course, the debuting Ricochet.
Oh man! And that moment came like that was like a building moment at a spot when Karen had got in front of Hangman's face. Hangman like had her held to where even I remember in commentaries going like, Hangman always said he did the righteous path. We won't know if he is like, you know, that's like one of those moments where you're going like Hangman's obsession with Swerve is going to really push him down, that is going to push him in the deep end, but he holds himself out because the next guy comes out and it's Ricochet.
Dude, his tagline, what is it? Out of this world.
Okay, that is his tagline. All right, I remember hearing this on a All In review, and I'm going like, wait, that was the tagline? I'm thinking, oh, I thought that was just something I heard in his theme.
No, that's because it had like his name Ricochet, and then above him it says "Out of this world." I like it.
Okay.
I mean, he came out with so much swagger and confidence. I loved it.
Yeah,
he got a big pop too.
Yeah, he's honestly AEW is the wrestling company that will let Ricochet not just be Ricochet, but they'll give him opponents to where you will see why he was such a big deal when he signed when he was in NXT. You know, Ricochet's going to have those opponents that's going to give him those moments to where you will see him do what he really does best, and he'll be working with guys who not only know how to sell, but also on how to work with his style.
By the way, I can't wait for Adam Cole to come back so they can do that match and then do another backflip into a super kick spot again.
I actually look forward to him and Swerve going against each other. Like really,
oh my god,
bring back to their days when Lucha Underground when he was Prince Puma.
After Ricochet, which by the way, fucking huge pyro. Like the big pyro was great.
Pyro, honestly, I did not pay attention too much on the pyro.
Then we had Christian Cage and finally Killswitch. But here's the interesting thing: he came out with the name Luchasaurus.
Yeah, which was a very interesting. Yeah. Oh, but before we talk about those guys, there were moments in this match to where I thought that Hangman really was going to come with those wins, and then Okada just does the laziest kick to the side of his head to break up a pin. That was hilarious, honestly.
And you can see that really pissed off Hangman.
Yeah, Hangman was not. Yeah, he really hated that, and even then, like Hangman Okada throughout this entire match, they really were like in each other's faces. Like they weren't trying to work together. Unlike with Briscoe, Kyle, and Orange Cassidy,
The
like they'll like even though it was whoever
conglomeration.
pinned, yeah, the conglomerate. Even though but the thing was that even though those three men they were individually trying to get a W, Briscoe had no problem helping Kyle out. Same with Kyle with Orange Cassidy. And even Orange jumped in. Like when Briscoe was there, I believe Kyle brought in a chair so Briscoe can do that over the
flip.
Over the top rope flip that he does.
Yep.
But yeah,
there's a lot of spots in this match that we can't bring up. Oh, I want to bring up Ricochet hitting the ring, not only hitting a Hurricanrana, but hitting a fucking springboard shooting star press on everybody outside the ring. Beautiful.
That was amazing.
Go ahead.
And honestly, this was the best match to debut Ricochet. Instead of just having him show up on a Dynamite, no, this is like bringing him in this gauntlet match where you have plenty of bodies on the floor, and this is where he can work with anybody in that ring, and so he can still have those small moments. Oh wait, speaking of a spot, before Ricochet has shown up, when Jarrett and Hangman were going against each other, Hangman powerbombs Jarrett onto all the other guys.
On the outside. Yeah, that was sick. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's completely okay. And then, of course, Jarrett gives that receipt back to Hangman by hitting him giving him the guitar shot.
Oh yeah, the El Kabong shot.
Yes, the El Kabong shot, which is good. That was a mini story in that match as well. You had Hangman, who is so dead focused on winning. Unfortunately, there's two men in that match that just won't let him win, which is Jarrett and Okada. But then at the same time, you also had like it wasn't there a lot because let's be honest, they've been splicing this out throughout like the Arlington residency. But Roderick Strong and Kyle also having their thing going back and forth with each other.
Sorry, I was reading something real quick. Something came up on my timeline during the media scrum. Will Ospreay said he's very happy that Ricochet is here and he's very happy for him, but he wants him to actually prove that he belongs here.
Oh, I think that's definitely a build for a match between the two of them. We're definitely going to get a build between the two of them. They are going to recreate their New Japan moments.
Yes. The fact that in one promotion we have Adam Cole, Keith Lee, and Ricochet again, it feels like 2019 or 2018, 2019 NXT.
Yeah, but we have the added effect of Will Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr. He showed up on appearances. But we got Will Ospreay there. I mean, freaking Kyle O'Reilly. Oh my God.
Swerve Strickland, Samoa Joe, like
Katsuyori Shibata. My God, that is someone.
Okada.
Yes, like honestly, I truly see this as hopefully at the end of this year we're gonna be eating so good as wrestling fans. Like if people want to shun AEW, shun AEW, but you cannot. And I mean, well, actually they can, but I'm just gonna say you cannot ignore the talent and the potential dream matches we have here. And guys, I'm gonna be honest. Not everyone can be protected in a dream match. Somebody has to take a loss. But if the match is good and you can honestly, within reason, see somebody lose a match, just be happy with it. Unlike the finish of this match. Unlike the finish of this match, which a lot of people were not happy with.
All right. The end of this match was Luchasaurus comes down. You think he's going to chokeslam Christian Cage. He doesn't. He ends up chokeslamming Kyle O'Reilly, I believe it was.
Yes, Kyle was the one charging in. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he allows Christian Cage to pick up the victory. At first, I was like, why are they giving Christian Cage another world title opportunity when he just lost against Swerve a few months back?
Yeah, you weren't the only one. There were so many people, so many befuddled by it. I too was caught by surprise, And that's why that's why in my head I'm thinking that there is a plan to this. There is a plan. Not Christian's plan, but more of a plan that Kill Switch is hatching to turn on Christian Cage.
I also feel like this would have been the perfect moment to have that turn happen.
Yeah, well, I think that's what everyone thought when he came out to simply as Luchasaurus, that even his music was different. But I think for Kill Switch, the perfect way to stab Christian in the back is to do to him what Christian has been doing to him, did to him last year. When he was TNT champion, all Christian wouldn't let him touch the title. When Christian pinned him to become TNT champion, and then when at World's End, when he won that battle royal for a shot at a TNT championship, when Copeland won, who shows up? Kill Switch. He thinks he's going to cash it in, but no, Christian manipulates him to give him the opportunity. And then later on with the trios, when they win the trios belts, on a Collision episode, when Christian is awarding them the titles, he gives them to Nick and Mama Wayne, not
Mama Wayne, yeah.
Yeah. And even in this match, even in the London Lars match, we see that Luchasaurus, no matter how hard he tried, Christian's ego, he wanted to be the one to grab the belts, not Luchasaurus. Not even Nick, honestly. He wanted to be the one to grab those belts. That's why I think Lucha did this to get back in Christian's good graces, lull Christian into believing that he is doing it for Christian because Christian sees himself as a father figure. But I think it's Luchasaurus slowly manipulating. He is forming a plan. So when Christian does have himself a world title match, he is going to stab him in the back. That will cost Christian a chance and will ruin any future opportunities he's going to have for the world title. That's what I think. That's what I am thinking from that little quick 3-minute, like when Luchasaurus showed up. I know not people don't think it makes sense, but I believe it's going to build to Luchasaurus, because I remember earlier on in AEW when it was him, Jack Perry as a boy in his dinosaur, later Jurassic Express. Luchasaurus talked so much on promos, and now he has a master's degree. Like, he is an intelligent man, and it was because of Christian. Yeah. Christian reduced him into being just this bodyguard, this goon,
this dumb monster.
Well, not just a monster, but this guy, someone without a voice. So I'm thinking this is Luchasaurus' way of finally paying Christian back for the fucking misery he's caused him.
So I'm going to be honest. I actually like the name Kill Switch. I think it works so much better than Luchasaurus. I wonder if they could use, if they're going to do this, if they're going to have, like, just to have, like, Luchasaurus, like, turn the knife a little bit more into Christian Cage. He takes the name Kill Switch and uses it for his own path.
I was going to think maybe he uses Christian's move Kill Switch to turn to as a way to stab him in the back.
Yes.
Or hell, he takes one of the moves and calls it Kill Switch.
Oh, yes, the choke slam?
Yeah, the choke slam.
He does?
Yeah. I mean, he just have his
by the way, I love that.
Finisher. Oh.
I love that on commentary when Nigel came out. Commentary brought up that the only reason he's in this match is because he's predicting that Bryan's going to win the main event, and he hates Bryan so much that he wants to win an opportunity to fight Bryan. And then when Hangman comes out, they say the exact same opposite, is that he's predicting Swerve's going to win, so so Hangman wants to win this match to get it Swerve. Oh, and I love.
Go ahead, keep going.
I love that in this match, because we know that Nigel McGuinness loves Christian Cage on commentary. Yeah. The first time Christian and Nigel get in the ring, Christian doesn't hesitate to give him a spear.
That's right. I just remembered what I wanted to bring up. When it came with Mariah, I came across after the Casino Gauntlet match. I decided to just go on Twitter and just be like, okay, I'm gonna quickly look at people's reactions.
Why would you do that?
Well, I was watching it at the time. I was watching it, so I wasn't gonna get spoiled. But I just saw one tweet.
Just why go on Twitter?
I don't know. It was just live reactions. I would get live reactions. But here's the funny
Mhm.
thing. I came across one comment in a reaction tweet of AEW showing Nigel, and this comment said, "Mariah revived Nigel's career with a kiss."
Yeah, yeah. Someone said in one of the comments, they said Nigel McGuinness is having the best day of his life. Not only does he compete, but he also gets a kiss from Mariah May.
Yeah. Yeah, in his heel persona, it works so well. That's why I'm like, oh, I gotta save this. I gotta save that. I gotta save this little nugget for later.
All right, so this casino match was fantastic. Um, I've heard people say that this is their favorite match of the night. I could see it.
Yeah.
I want to see them make this a yearly event. Maybe every year at All In, you get a casino gauntlet match.
Well, that's why I think when it comes down to the Casino Gauntlet match, how they are going to use it, because it's newly introduced. So I think this is the last Casino Gauntlet match we're going to see, because now we got Grand Slam coming up. Then there's Wrestle Dream, which I'm pretty sure I know they're going to start the World Title Eliminator Tournament building to Full Gear.
Mm-hmm.
So with that coming up, and then later on there's the Continental Classic. So I think this is the last Casino Gauntlet match, unless they might do it for the women, which that would be very interesting if they do it for the women.
A women's casino gauntlet match would be awesome.
Damn it! I'm hitting my computer too much.
All right, we got to move on to our next match.
For the women, I'll just add this in. The only reason why I say for the women's is because the men already have 2 upcoming events with the World Eliminator Tournament and the I just said the Continental Classic.
Continental Classic.
So I don't think there'll be room to squeeze in another Casino Gauntlet match, unless they want to do that for the international title or the international and the TNT title. But that's here nor say. That's why I think maybe we'll have one for the women to determine a challenger for Full Gear or World's End.
All right, let's move on to our next match, which might be my match of the night. It's between this and the main events. MJF defending the American Championship against Will Ospreay. I love Will Ospreay's entrance. It makes so much sense to tie his aerial assassin gimmick, and he loves the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah. He has a tattoo on his left arm. And the fact that his finishing move, the Hidden Blade, is pretty much like a reference to Assassin's Creed, which is fantastic. And every time, and even then, when Will Ospreay lands those moves like out of the air, it's almost like I'm literally watching a live action Assassin's Creed. Erasing the 2015 movie with Michael Fassbender in my head.
A better movie.
A better movie we're seeing. So yeah, that entrance was fantastic. And also to hear Roger Craig Smith voice Ezio Auditore again. Oh, that took me back to when I was in living with my grandma playing Assassin's Creed, and then the second game. Well, it was I played Assassin's Creed 2 when I was still living at my grandma's house. But man, it just brought me back to those days. And I'm just going, oh. The fact that I'm hearing Ezio Auditore say Will Ospreay, I'm going, oh.
You are an assassin.
Yes. I'm like, man, I wish plane tickets were not that fucking expensive to where I could have flown to be there at All In to hear that. Oh.
I was watching a review, and someone said this is how a product placement should be done. You tie it in with an entrance, and you tie it in with someone that makes sense to tie it in. Not just have fucking shit banners around the ring for a random ass match during a pay-per-view.
Or this product or this match is sponsored by this, Yeah, both AEW and WWE are very guilty of this. Hell, actually, for a while, AEW was always doing that. Like, they would always have, like, their theme nights, like, this match, like Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia, sponsored by House of the Dragon, or the Shark.
That actually makes sense, though. They're both dragons.
Yeah,
It was
but
the
then also
the
you have
American Dragon versus the Dragon
Appreciation
Slayer.
Society versus the BCC and a shark, sponsored by Shark Week, where they were guys
Yeah.
were in a cage.
Or the also mentioned Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match.
Yeah. Like, I think it's sometimes when it comes to sponsors, it really is throwing at the wall and see what sticks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This is one of those instances.
This time it works.
Yeah. And then MJF.
By the way, I'm so excited for Assassin's Creed Shadow.
Yeah. I honestly lost interest in the franchise. Like, I do have Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Valhalla. I just never played them yet. I was like only a third. I'm still only a third into Assassin's Creed Origins, honestly. So, but this has really got me back into, okay, I am going to pre-order that game, and so I'm going to get back into playing the Assassin's Creed series. I don't need to care about the lore. Huh?
It worked, by the way. The product placement worked on you.
Well, not just me. It's just also one of my friends too. Like, he's also messaging me and he says, "Oh, he already pre-ordered the Assassin's Creed game before this, but he's even more excited to play it now."
Mm-hmm. Dude, like the dancers, like the flip dancers he had during his entrance is so cool. MJF going full fucking Apollo Creed with the big hat, the American jacket, the Star-Spangled Pants, everything.
Yeah, I think I was seeing like some chat, some stuff in the live stream chat of Apollo Creed, or he's going full Lex Luger, and I'm like, all good references.
Brian Zane said, on his review said, MJF's wearing the Lex Luger tights.
Yeah, like all full Lex MJF, and of course, unfortunately, there was one side effect of one yes, the streamers.
Not gonna lie, in some of the matches it actually helps. I think in the main event it did help seeing the streamers like already getting caught there.
Like, it may have looked like a distraction, but that was, unfortunately, it was just another side effect of when they had that little open little trouse, that open like little I forget. Trust, yes, that's it. That trust there, with the giant screens, and then of course the MJF flag and the streamers there. I'm like, yeah, it just happened.
MJF's face being the stars.
Yes, yeah, his face was
hilarious.
But it was just funny seeing those streamers hanging there. So I'm like, they're having this good match, but every now and then they're doing a spot with a turnbuckle. They're honestly, the streamer is just brushing up against them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always funny.
But this match was fantastic. It went 25 minutes, and we've seen it. Like, we saw everything in this match. We saw Ospreay hits a Sasuke special early on. Mm-hmm. Goes for it again. MJF catches him into a tombstone on the outside, which was gnarly. Will Ospreay fucking kills a cameraman with a hidden blade off the top rope.
That was really timed so well. Like, MJF, he's standing out there looking towards the crowd, back turned to Ospreay as he goes for that hidden blade, and just like the moment he jumps off, MJF moves and his elbow, and he's colliding into that cameraman. And I love how the cameraman sells it as if he just got put into a coma.
He just died.
Yes.
You had Max, Ospreay went for a he went for a take, like a leg takedown, a single leg takedown.
Oh yeah.
Max replaced it and then just stuffed him with a pile driver.
Yeah.
Again, targeting the neck of Ospreay
in this match quickly, but even at the moment when they're on the outside, and he's able to I forgot the move he does onto Ospreay, but he gets in the ring wanting to get the 10 count, and Will
that was the Panama Sunrise.
Yes, the Panama Sunrise. Okay, yeah, but even then, MJF is in that ring waiting for that 10 count, and that story is like Ospreay's first he's like right at the commentary desk, and he's slowly just crawling his way, and then once the referee is at that 8, you do see him like trying to grip the ring, but then he stands up,
And he-
slips, and it's 9, and then pops right back in at that 10. Almost as if, what would have happened
doing
if
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like telling the ref to count faster was hilarious.
But what would have been really interesting, what happens if Ospreay accidentally, like he was going in, he does slip, and then all of a sudden it's the 10 count. It's like, oh, we're gonna end it here. Like, it's kind of one of those things where, look, I'm not saying I don't like the spy, but sometimes where I'm just like, man, I really think that there needs
One
to be
slip up.
Yeah, one slip up can change the whole outcome, which I'm glad did not happen. It did. It was just one of those things that I'm thinking of when when Ospreay made the 10 count. I'm like, oh my god, what happens if he accidentally slipped for real?
Mm-hmm. Ospreay, man, hitting like I love that he always is attempting the Stormbreaker in this match.
Stormbreaker, oh my yes. Like Stormbreaker is such a good move, and I love how MJF is like he scouted that out. He got out of it on 3 separate occasions until finally he just couldn't.
Towards the end of the match, the referee gets taken out. Max goes to hit. He hits Ospreay with the American Championship. Ospreay kicks out, and then he goes for the Nux, right? Yeah, he goes for the Nux, and who's there to stop him?
Because I believe MJF tweeted earlier before the show that his Dynamite ring was stolen.
Was it stolen by the guy in the mask?
That's what I believe. That's what I believe, because the fact that MJ did not have that, so that's why he had that makeshift like brass knucks on hand with the tape over it, to knock him out. So when that happened, I'm going, yeah, I loved it. Like when he brings out, he's going for that windup. He is stopped, and then he's knocked on his ass, and I love that slow face reveal of Daniel Garcia. And
yes, I texted you. I'm like, I'm so glad that he re-signed.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that is the case though, because I think
it would have to be, because why would they give him this moment if it wasn't?
Well, the thing was, I was watching Steven Larson during the review, and they were doing a live chat, and someone in the live chat said that his contract expires in October.
I think I'm pretty sure if they're going to give him this moment and they're going to give him this long run with a feud with MJF, he's probably signed an extension. He probably re-signed.
I mean, I'm hoping he did re-sign, but if his contract does expire somewhere in October, then yeah, Wrestle Dream is a pay-per-view to where he can just wrap things up, because Jade Cargill, I mean, she came after she lost the title. She came back just to have a match with Chris Statlander, and then she pops up in WWE.
But I think Jade, her contract was up already.
Yeah, I mean, Jade was already like on her way out of the door, but Garcia,
and that was a one-off match with no. Yeah,
I'm really not trying to say Garcia didn't resign. I want it to be true that he did resign, because the storytelling that has been done with him since the Continental Classic has truly painted Garcia as a new foundation for AEW to build their division around. But if he's unsure of where he wants to go with his contract coming up, I don't blame him if he does not re-sign and he's just waiting for the moment. But it's kind of like in that situation where I'm just hearing it's all of assumption. And until he officially says it, until Garcia officially says he is re-signed, or I hear from commentary, or they do a segment to where he's re-signed, then I will truly believe it. But right now, I just don't want it to go off of simply, he showed up at All In.
The only thing I would say is the reason why I'm so convinced he re-signed is because it goes back to the Lucha Brothers thing.
Yeah.
If the Lucha Brothers are on their way out, but their contract is still there, why not just put them in this ladder match? Why have Garcia, who's hasn't re-signed, why put him in this major spot and give him a main spot against MJF if you're not gonna re-sign him. Like,
well, I mean, they could still have him go. They can still book him in a way to where he looks good going out. I mean, they did that with Andrade when when he was, when his contract was up.
I don't know. It's just weird that like they wouldn't bring in the Lucha Bros for the ladder match to do Death Triangle, but they brought in Daniel Garcia, even though both are still under contract.
Well, I think it's because I think Tony wanted to do a program with Death Triangle, but I think maybe the Lucha Bros were just so dead set on leaving that he's just like, okay, I'll let you guys sit at home until your contract's up, and then he'll have a new program set up. I mean, I'm really not trying to throw rain on this parade. I'm hoping Garcia is back and he's a house of fire, gets his little feud with MJF, and that leads him to winning the international championship and being the foundation that he should be. Because, I mean, he does have his doubts. I mean, for Christ's sakes, last year he was in one of the hottest angles with Daniel Bryan, and then of course, through politicking, Jericho prevented him from joining the BCC and kept him in the Appreciation Society, where he honestly.
That happened? Is that backstage or is that on screen?
Well, I believe Garcia said on an interview that the original plan was for him to fully join BCC after he won the Pure Championship.
Oh.
And for him, yeah. But I think Jericho backstage was telling people like, no, I still need him. I still have plans for him. That's why you saw that thing where he turned on Daniel Bryan, officially realigned himself with
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, sorry.
Same person.
Yeah. That's what I'm just saying. It's just from what I heard, not just from Garcia, but I think also from a few other sources as well, because it made sense. Like Garcia was having that little, is he an entertainer or a wrestler, little mini storyline happening, and you saw him leaning more as a wrestler, winning the Pure Championship from Yuta, having these great matches with Bryan Danielson. Danielson really looked like he was bringing him into the fold. And then that little betrayal happened. To me, that's kind of like there was a plan there, and then at the last minute, it's like, oh no, Jericho still wants him. And then we see what happens there. Like he loses the Pure title again. I mean, and then he's just kind of back as Entourage, almost like literally floating nowhere. And then,
so I have a theory what they can do. But let's go ahead and get this in the end of this.
Yeah, let's finish this whole thing. We'll talk about it later when we're done. But yeah, when Daniel Garcia shows up, and he is like, the moment he stops MJF and then goes out to the ring, he is still standing there at the foot of the ramp. And I love that moment, Ospreay finally hitting that Tiger Driver. Oh, it was first
MJF turns around and gets blasted with the blade.
Oh, good. Like Ospreay literally just flies in and he's like, "Gotcha, bitch!"
Gotcha, bitch. He pulls a Dave Chappelle. Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, but even then, the way he flies in, it reminded me of when he did that hidden blade on Swerve on the Build to Forbidden Door, just like running in and just like, boom, motherfucker.
What I love is he didn't hesitate. He got his arms, and you hear him scream, "Tiger Driver!" And
it was more than just hesitation. It's pretty much like once he locked him in those, like you see the camera's focusing on that look in his eyes, and you see, and he is wild-eyed. The crowd wants him to do it, so he's like, I'm doing it.
And MJF takes a fucking bump on this one, man.
Yeah. Oh man.
Jesus.
God. And then, of course, the referee just like slowly getting back in. I'm like, is the crowd going to do their own 3 counts until he gets in? Which they kind of did.
Which I love the fact that even with the referee being down for so long, MJF didn't kick out. That protects the Tiger Driver.
Yeah. And honestly, it was a perfect nail to end the match. And oh my God, I swear, I had to rewatch this in order to notice something. But after the win, Bryce brings in the belt, the American Championship.
Bryce steps up, Jeff.
Well, no. It's when the International Championship. But when he gives the American Championship, he's like, "Here you go." Like, no, I don't want this fucking thing. Then when Christopher Daniels comes in, I loved it. Yeah, Bryce, he literally just steps over him to
He
give the
steps over
belt.
MJF.
I didn't notice that the first time until I saw it watched
I
it the
didn't
second
either.
time.
Yeah, I was watching it with my brother. He goes, "Look at the ref." I went back. I was like, he just stepped like right on MJF.
Oh, I know that's going to be used on MJF's next promo in Dynamite. And like he's going to have an issue with the ref. But God, it was just so good. It's like the ref's like, hey, you knocked me over. So guess what? I get a little payback on you.
But this match was fantastic. From story development to in-ring work. This is why Will Ospreay is my favorite wrestler of all time.
Yeah. And
because
also,
every
Ospreay
match
also...
he's in is...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm jumping on you.
Because every match that he's in, he makes it a highlight.
Yes. And also, Ospreay has shown in his first year, he doesn't need to win the world title to make himself a star. The international title, like, he wins it and then has this great feud with MJF, really showing that this is a top guy belt. This isn't just some second belt. This is just some belt that's going to be second to the world title. Yes, the world title will be the top prize, but that international title, solidified through Orange Cassidy, even when Mox had it, the fact that Mox wanted to go after the international title says how important that belt was. And then the way that... Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was mainly just going to continue on talking about how prestigious that belt has become. But go ahead. I can say that some other time.
But we both know what match is next for Ospreay. Pac at All Out.
Oh yes, Pac didn't get his Wembley moment for the international title. He got it for the trios, but now that's going to be a great setup, and that is going to be a fucking fantastic match.
That needs to be the main event.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we don't know since Christian won the gauntlet match, who knows? Will he cash in his opportunity at All Out, or is he going to hold on to it? You know, that's why Dynamite. Hopefully, this upcoming Dynamite, we're going to get some answers on what they're going to do building for matches for All Out. But yeah, Pac should be the main event, just like last year that the international title was the main event at All Out.
And the story is simple: have Pac be like, hey, I earned my shot at the international title. I earned a shot at my Wembley moment. And what does this guy do? Waltzes in and gets handed a shot at the international title while I'm regulated to the opening match.
That could be something for him. And heck, if Pac does win it, he'll be not only be a 2-time international champion, he'll be a 2-time double champion.
I don't think Pac's winning that match.
No, I don't. I know he's not. But the way that they could frame it, the fact that Pac was the first person to win that championship, when it was called the All Atlantic Championship, and then at the same time, he won the Trios Championship, so he was a double champion with those belts. They could frame it that way to where Pac this time says he's going to do it with the international title when he couldn't do it the first time, defend it internationally.
Yeah, but like, I'm super excited to see the run that Will Ospreay goes with the international title, because whenever it's on Ospreay or whenever the belt's on somebody big, it means something a bit more. I mean, hell, look at all the people who have held the international title, main eventers.
Yeah,
like
Pac,
world class.
Orange Cassidy, Mox, Ray Phoenix, then back to Orange Cassidy, then Roderick Strong.
Then MJF, or then Ospreay, then MJF.
Ospreay. Yeah, already, like, that belt has prestigious winners behind it. Regardless on the circumstances behind some of those wins, or behind some of those people. But even then, that belt is fantastic. And MJF, just like Willow showed, that you don't need... Holding the belt for a month doesn't hurt you on the card. It makes you... MJF, with the American Championship, made the shtick so good to when the international title came back, the crowd popped for the original design of that belt.
And by the way, during the post scrum, apparently MJF is still continuing this American gimmick. He said, MJF, this made me laugh so hard, when one of the interviewers asked him about losing to Will Ospreay. He goes, "I didn't lose to Will Ospreay. That's fake news."
Oh my god. I mean, he did lie when he said he did lie and say when he won the belt the first time he did in 30 seconds. So,
dude, the funniest part of that match is he's on oxygen after the match and he goes, "Easy dub, easy dub."
yeah. So it would surprise me. Yeah, he leans hard into that American gimmick to where the American champ, if he does carry around that belt, it could be like the $1 million title, another unsanctioned belt in the company, just for MJF to carry.
Yeah, we need to move on because
we got 3 more matches left to talk about.
Yep. Next match we have for the TBS Championship, the champion Mercedes Moné taking on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Can I be honest? I couldn't get into this match.
Oh, okay.
Something felt off to me. I don't know what it was. I know, like, I watched some reviewers who say that Britt Baker needs to be carried to the match. I do not agree with that. I think Britt is a really good wrestler.
She is Mercedes very good.
Mercedes is a really good wrestler too. I don't know what felt off in this match to me though.
I think in this situation, and I'll be honest, the early opening moments of this match, yeah, it felt wonky, you know. Like some matches, if they're done so well from bell to bell, you won't know time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you did feel time was slowed down. Maybe it's because, I don't know, maybe they just weren't on the right page, or they just weren't connecting well with when it came with lockups and holds. But, you know, there was something there. Look, I'm not going to put anything towards them. I mean, Mercedes was able to put on a great match against Willow at Double or Nothing and had an incredible match against Stephanie McClure at Forbidden Door. So you know she can work in the ring.
And her match against Shida was really good too.
Yes. Like she can work well with others and even have moments to where her opponents are dominating the match more than her. That was the connecting thread I saw with those 3 matches. Her opponents dominated her more than she did in the match. In this one, I don't know. I guess maybe she wanted to do the whole thing where she's being dominated by Britt, or she was pandering too much, or Britt wanted to play this more as a straight down wrestling match. Maybe there was just a clash here.
If I'm being honest, I think it has to do with placement of the match. I think if this match was in the spot of Tony and Mariah, and Tony and Mariah was after Ospreay and MJF, I think
no. That Tony and Mariah deserve to have their own moment separate from that. The crowd.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like because the crowd would have been over for that match either way, because you have someone from their home country, they're so over with Tony that you would have had the same reaction, even after an Ospreay MJF match, because I feel like they could ride that momentum. They're at such a high that now you kick off this blood feud with Tony and Mariah, and you have them go straight out to the same match, and then you give us the close down with the casket match, which I'd keep that the same. Then you have a breather.
I don't think it was the crowd in this moment too. I've seen wrestlers.
The crowd felt dead.
I think it was just having a hard time getting involved in this match. So, I mean, look, the crowd can add more to a match, but sometimes there are good matches to where the crowd is just dead. Honestly. I've watched that in some NXT takeovers. Like, there were some good matches in a card to where the crowd was just non-reactive to. I honestly think it just has to play with how both the women were playing their characters. Mercedes truly was in this one leaning as a more, like, I won't say cowardly heel, but she was playing more of the heel character than she was in her match against Shida. Because even
Yeah.
when Camille was at her side in her match against Sheeta was being the more aggressive person in that match. So
Mhm.
Mercedes wouldn't have those moments to where she was always trying to hide between the ropes or hide behind Camille. Sheeta was always being aggressive here. I think when Mercedes did those moments in this match, Britt really was like letting her have those moments instead of like jumping on it.
Yeah, but also like I
But even
also
then, there were some lock up and tie up moments that were a little wonky,
mhm.
like the little pinning bridge. Um,
Yeah,
that one was a little like wonky itself. I really think it just comes down to the ladies just weren't feeling each other in this match.
which is kind of weird because like this is the match that like when there was talks about Mercedes coming in, the first person we were talking about, her versus Britt, like that's gonna be a banger match, and something just felt off,
I
and
think
I don't know what it
if
is.
they do have a rematch down the road, I think it will be better. I think it
Mm-hmm.
really will be better because sometimes some dream matches may not always like be perfect from the first get up. Sometimes it takes a second time around for them to be better.
Yeah,
Um, I
but
mean,
I will say
but there
this:
were some spots in this
Mercedes.
match that were a little
Mhm.
scary, like when Mercedes did that little backbreaker on Britt on the turnbuckle. Like Britt had
I
been,
love that spot. I love that spot because normally we see Mercedes is the one that takes that move, so now it's like
giving it to
she's
Britt.
using that move. Yeah,
I don't
go
know. I
ahead.
think
Sorry.
after with the injury report, the injury that Britt had that caught her, that had her out for so many months.
Hmm.
To me, I was just like a little. It that got me a little scared for a second.
Yeah. Um, but like I'm not going to blame either one. I think Britt's a great
No,
wrestler,
no,
and I
yeah. It's
think
just sometimes
Mercedes
there'll
is a
be some
great
matches
wrestler.
that just didn't work out.
Yeah, it just felt like an off night. But like Mercedes has shown that she can work with pretty much anybody. Like put her in against Sheeta, great match.
I mean,
Put
she
her
had a
up
match
against
against
someone like
Nyla
Nyla
Rose, and that
Rose.
worked out. Yeah,
Yeah, because like in that match, Nyla could literally like ragdoll Mercedes around, and she like went with her. This one
yeah.
just fell off. I don't know if it's because Britt was trying to get over her moves at the same time Mercedes was trying to get over her moves, and maybe it just didn't clash well, or
Yeah.
if it's because you're following MJF and Will Ospreay, and it's just like this feels like a cool down match. I don't know.
I, it, Look, this is just one of the downsides when you have a very stacked card. So there's
Mm-hmm.
some matches you can't you can't put those doubts in your head if it's gonna be a cool down match or not. That's why,
Yeah.
to me personally, if I did wanted to change the placement, I maybe would have put the ladders match somewhere in the middle of the card, and maybe have I would have had Tony and Mariah open the show, honestly.
I don't know. Opening the card with a ladder match is a great way. It's a car crash. It's a great way to open up. You get a lot of cool
Seeing where the
spots. You
coffin
get a
match
lot
was
of
placed, though, I mean, I think the ladders match could have been used at a good spot to where it kind of was a breather for maybe after MJF and Osprey, and then you do
I
the
don't know
Canadian title.
because doing MJF and Will Ospreay then doing a ladder match that could gas out the crowd, and you still want them to be lively for Danielson and Swerve.
Oh, if at the end of the match it truly did not fucking matter because that crowd was fucking ready, and there were spots in that match that proved it. But just going through, also if I recall, Britt really was when Britt did that little backbreaker spot. She really was putting a lot of emphasis, like selling on how bad her
Mm-hmm.
back was. So when it
Yeah,
came to certain
I
moments,
love the spot where Mercedes just does a top rope body slam.
oh, and Britt reverses that. Oh,
No.
well, the
Like
second
she
time, this
does it the
second
first
time, yeah,
time. The
yeah, second
second
time.
time was really cool when she like
Yeah.
flipped out of it and like did like a Spanish fly type move.
Yeah, I think it
I
was.
love.
I think it was supposed to be kind of like a Mercedes was doing the classic power slam, but
Mm-mm,
then Britt, when she reversed it, it was kind of like a running slam. I
mm-hmm,
think that was the goal for that, which was great. And I will say that's like the moment building up to that's when the match really did start to kick off there. Like
Yeah.
especially when that moment where when Mercedes wanted to use her title, but the ref stops her, and then Britt does the little Eddie Guerrero bump on Camille to get her
Love
kicked
it.
out. That was
Love
a great
it.
moment. I will say that I think that moment there, that's where I saw the match really did start to pick up, honestly. That's where we did
Apparently
start
Brian Zane had a problem with this spot because it looked like
because she collided with the ref and the ref no sold it, right?
I don't even know, like, did she hit the ref? It looks like she barely misses him. Like he stops her from using it.
Yes. Some people will take small moments and read into it. I mean, when I was listening to Steven Larson, I mean, they were mostly talking about certain moments where the match looked like it was kind of wonky. And yeah, Brian Zane, you mentioned, brings up that little ref bump spot. But I will be honest, I think maybe after that first Power Slam, they were starting to pick things up.
Mm-hmm. The ending of this match felt a little weird as well. Like Mercedes trips.
They were fighting over Britt's glove, which was weird.
Yeah, I love it. I love the spot when Mercedes blocks the lockjaw by just biting down on her finger.
Yeah, that was a good moment too. I'm like, and I think I remember some commenter on the live chat going, "Why doesn't nobody else do that?" Where I'm like, "Well, no. When Britt does the lockjaw, she's grabbing the lower part of her jaw to stretch it out. When Mercedes bites down, Britt doesn't have her full grip on her yet. So she's kind of like this, like almost like she's chewing a little bit on her ends of her fingertips, you know."
Yeah, exactly. But this ending felt a little anticlimactic to me. It's like she hits the rope, Britt hits the ropes, and then Mercedes hits the money maker. I think
the whole thing was Mercedes throws her into the ropes. Britt's supposed to be like have a whiplash to where her neck kind of bounces against it. That led into the money maker. I think that was the whole point of that.
Yeah, can I be honest? I don't like the money maker as a finisher. I think it looks weird because Mercedes is kind of short. So it doesn't look as impactful as it would if someone like, say, a Camille were to do that version of a move. It would look more impressive because she's taller, so you would have a higher fall to go. Mercedes using it doesn't look that good to me.
I think it just comes down to I'm pretty sure Mercedes, she wanted to use I think she wanted a move to separate herself from her career in WWE because of the bank statement a lot. So, I mean, honestly, the move is fantastic. It's just, it really does fall down to who takes it, how they sell it. Because even when she debuted in New Japan...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, when she debuted in New Japan, there were people that were hating on that move because they thought, was it supposed to be like a gory special turned into a DDT? And I'm going, well, it depends on who takes it. Because when she did that, it was on Kairi, and she didn't sell it that well. But then the second time they did it, she sold it perfectly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if I'm being honest, like, I get wanting to separate your character. But, like, the bank statement works for her character. She's a technician. She's somebody who will work a body part. And if you're...
She has said on interviews she loves the lucha style wrestling and she wants to emulate more of that.
Well, then, to me, have her Meteora be her finisher.
I mean, the gory special maybe, since she likes doing the... the gory special, because that's also a move I've seen used in lucha match, that luchadors use. If that does influence her, that it can still be the thing where she ties an opponent's arms where she locks them in, but better yet, then that involves her opponent being inverted to where she does the move, kind of like the inverted.
Like, I know, I love this move, and I don't know if she wants to copy it. The Widow's Peak would be awesome for her. Where
honestly,
she turns
it's a better
from a gory special and just fall straight down with it.
It is a better transition, I will say, when she has to pull that out. Or hell, maybe do the vertebreaker as a finisher.
Yeah, but I'm saying like like every time I've seen it, I can never be like, oh yeah, that could end a match.
Yeah.
It doesn't look impactful to me. Something like a Widow's Peak, a Meteora, something like that, or as you said, just a regular gory special where she just racks her opponents in like a torture rack position.
Yeah.
Where
well, I think because looking at that moneymaker. Yeah, because looking at the moneymaker though, it does require when she sets them up, she has to bend, she has to get in a squat position, so then she could use the momentum to have her opponent flip around. But even then, the opponent, it really is a move where both have to work at making it look good.
All right, so let's move on. Mercedes wins with the money maker. We move on to our co-main event
for the TNT Championship. This was one of the shorter matches of the card.
Yep, 10 minutes. I believe this was the shortest match on the card. Jack Perry taking on Darby Allin in a casket match.
And this one, honestly, yeah. I actually appreciate the short time there. Oh my god. Because
I'm sorry. This is the second shortest match.
It's a coffin
Jericho
match.
and Hook was 10 minutes and 15.
It's a coffin match, not a casket match.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't worry. It's okay. I was thinking casket match too, but then I remembered coffin is the whole thing with Darby's gimmick. You know, the coffin drop, and then he had a coffin match last year with Sting against Swerve and Christian. So, and this works.
This match was good.
It was, yeah. These guys, all they had to do was just get their shtick in, beat the hell out of each other, and then whoever gets to the end gets to the end.
Mm-hmm. And I actually appreciate that it's shorter because it shows how prepared Jack Perry was for this match. That he wasn't going to go in here and just try to beat down Darby Allin for 20 minutes and then hopefully get him in a coffin. No, he was going to tie him up. He wasn't getting paid by the hour. He's going to tie him up, put him in that body bag.
He had a body bag with him.
Yeah, hit him with that knee and finish the match.
But
shows how he always has a plan.
But Darby coming out with Thumbtack glued on his face. Oh my goodness.
Yes. This match was fun. I wish maybe 15 minutes would have been good, but
or maybe have a little more time. When Jack Perry brought out that bag with the real glass, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I think maybe there should have been some more time devoted to the glass spot. Like instead of having Jack just get body slammed, back dropped on it, maybe have Darby attempt to do a coffin drop, but Jack moves, and then Darby lands on the glass.
Dude, when the glass came out of the bag, you immediately heard the "fuck CM Punk" chants.
Like it went up first, and then the second time after, when Jack took the bump, and then Darby did the skateboard onto his back. It wasn't thunderous, but it was there. It was there. Those chants.
You could hear the "fuck CM Punk" chants.
Yeah. Which I definitely, that's another can of worms I don't want to get into. But it's just another wink to Jack Perry on his career at a moment that everyone thought was the end of his career, but look where he is.
Mm-hmm. And now I can hear the punk cult going crazy.
Oh, the cops? Yeah, the cops are going to go crazy.
The cops.
Cult of Punk stands.
Oh my god, that works.
Yeah, I'm calling them that because to mirror real life, they're being ignorant, they're throwing their weight around, and they're in a way bothering people. Like unfortunately I see on the news what cops are doing. So yeah, I'm calling everybody who's a punk diehard a cop. So get used to it.
That's fair. But I love that this match, Jack Perry went into this match with a plan, and his plan went out. He was like, okay, I know Darby's going to try to fly at me. I'm just going to move out of the way so he takes a landing.
Well,
All right, when
unfortunately,
he's
the first
out, I'm
time
going
though, when he's walking down the ramp, he lets himself get a little too
to.
carried away in the crowd to where Darby just literally just did that, flew at his ass.
Mm-hmm. I love that, like, Jack Perry is playing this guy that is, 2 steps ahead of everybody else, 3 steps ahead of everybody else, where he's, okay, I'm going to have the ties. I'm going to use Darby's own belt to tie up his feet. I'm going to throw him off of the rampway so he goes to the tables.
Mm-hmm.
He puts him in the body bag, and Darby does this. He sits up, and you think he's going to get fired up, and just gets fucking kneed in the face.
Oh my god! But even then, like when he had Darby tied up, he throws him off the ramp onto a table,
Mm-hmm.
like really soaking it in out there. Like he really is, like you said, 10 steps ahead, which also buys so much time for him to get that body bag and just drag him across the floor. Like this was the moment where Jack's like, "I'm going to take your match, your specialty, and turn it against you." And then that moment of Darby going out of that bag, I'm thinking, oh, like it's like Darby Allin won't die. Like, nope, no, you're dead.
Yeah. And then after Jack Perry closes the coffin after the match, I was like, oh my god, they're gonna set this dude on fire. They're gonna do an Undertaker, Randy Orton, No Mercy spot.
Which I thought would have been if they would just pour the gasoline on the coffin, but instead they open the coffin, they're pouring it on the body bag, and then they pour it on the coffin. I'm like, they're gonna go for it. I'm like, what's gonna happen? And then the lights go out.
That's the great thing, is that with anybody else, you're like, oh yeah, someone's gonna stop him. With Darby Allin, that motherfucker's crazy. He might actually set himself on fire.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Perry allowed himself to be set on fire. I mean, the first time, but the second time they weren't going to do that because he didn't have any of that flame retardant gel on him. But I'm thinking, they're going to light that coffin, and then someone's going to run out. But then lights go out. I'm like, wait, who's coming? And then Metallica plays. I'm like, I popped like crazy. I'm like, what?
I wish I didn't watch any news stories, because I had heard that Sting was in London like a week ago, and I was like, oh man, like this would have been
I know about the news story as well. It just really didn't ruin anything for me. I thought he was just going to be there for I thought he was there for a convention or for a signing event.
No, like when I heard that he was in London. And I was like, well, Darby Allin's in a match, so maybe they'll have Sting come out and do a spot. Like my mind immediately went to, oh yeah, Sting's gonna show up at All In. Like I hadn't doubt about that. But dude, Seek and Destroyed played. He's got a big pop. Came out, did the. I love. Was it Matt Jackson? Was like, you're retired. You can't be here.
I know. That was hilarious. And then Nick tries to charge at him, but he takes out both of them. I love how Jack's like, oh, I'm gonna hit you with the chair. Sting just no selling it every time. It got me. It gets me so good. And then Jack, he's like a cartoon villain. He just runs out when he realized it didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
and then he does the Scorpion job on both the Bucks.
Mm-hmm. And then he gets Darby out of the coffin. Me and my brother joked that he was just gonna leave Darby in the coffin.
No, and then Darby just pops out of the coffin. Like, what just happened? Like they're like a vigilante. Wink, wink. WWE nudge.
Yeah.
I mean, and I did like
awesome.
The commentator said, "Oh, Sting said in interviews he's gonna keep his eye on AEW and not on Darby Allin." I'm like, that's still a good way to show he's gonna be around even though his in-ring career is over. Sting could be used for appearances, which this was a great use of his great showing for him.
All right, so let's move on to our main event. We're almost 3 hours into the show. We're about half an AEW pay-per-view. We're moving on to the main event.
Which is honestly, for me, I feel like it's worth it. Like we at least got to talk about some story beats, and we did. I will admit, we did drone off a little bit. I droned off on some certain sections.
We both did.
Yeah. But this is just. I mean, we're reviewing the pay-per-view. I feel like we need to at least talk about some story, some beats in this. But oh my god, this whole thing, this build-up, everything was fantastic. And it paid off so well in this match. Danielson, of course, coming out to the final countdown, which you cannot. I mean, the fact they called the match the final countdown, you would have been out of your goddamn mind to not play that song.
Dude, the crowd singing along in Wembley Stadium was awesome.
Yeah, and I could tell. I mean, the crowd was definitely singing along because they were falling a bit to the words, and then they dropped a little bit, and then back on the words, and then it's the final countdown.
Yeah,
the final countdown. And
so good, man.
Danielson did not shy away. Yeah, you see right by the commentary desk, watching at ringside, Bree, his daughter Birdie, and his son Buddy. And I'm like, I'll be honest, this is the first time I remembered that his children are named Bees. I'm going, oh my god. I chuckled a little bit.
A family of bees.
Yes. Which I would have thought, is this Brian just once again just taking another shot WE for them doing the B+ player storyline? That's just me thinking that. That was me thinking that.
No,
but then, there are families.
What was really cool is that
there are families that have that kind of thing. If the husband and wife have the same letter initial in their name, then yeah, their kids will have the same letter initial.
Yeah, but I love.
Bree did an interview with Renee Paquette.
I'll bring that up.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, I didn't get to watch all of it, but did you?
I watched a little bit of it, but I'm really glad that they actually sat down and talked with her about this. It seems like they're slowly bringing her into the fold.
Well, I mean, I know some people are gonna believe that this is them like going to have Bree be a part of AEW, but I honestly think she is done with wrestling. I think this is just her. She's married to Bryan Danielson. Every wrestling fan knows that. It's not like you can't ignore it, especially the fact that Swerve brought up his family, brought up his daughter and his son. What was going to happen? Bree was going to be sitting in a box office seat VIP, and his kids are just going to be there with like a nanny or something. No, it's. No. I mean, WWE probably would have done that, but yeah, I'm taking a shot at WWE, guys. Fuck off. But this is kind of like, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore the fact that she's there. But yeah, Danielson, he has that great moment, it like really soaking in the crowd. And then we get Swerve coming out to a remix of his theme with UGK and Bun B UGK and DJ Booth, but then Bun B coming out rapping alongside the real one while they're singing Big Pressure, which I didn't know. I couldn't tell at first if UGK and Bun B were actually singing until I was hearing the audio.
Yeah, but I love the fact that in every big pay-per-view title defense that Swerve has, Nana gives him the Jimmy Rave jacket as a token of respect to Jimmy Rave.
Yeah, and token of respect and also of legacy as well. Did that at Dynasty and doing it here. I'm going to myself, that's fantastic. And then a friend of mine was saying that Swerve's getup is a bit of a mixture of his time as Killshot and also of an homage to and of course with the Killmonger, the Black Panther setup. And I didn't even notice that, but the back of his shirt had 5 decapitated heads of the people that he has beaten.
Oh,
the 5th head was supposed to be of Danielson, but you had Samoa Joe, there was Christian, Will Ospreay, oh my god, I'm forgetting what the 4th head was. There was 5 heads on there. Wait, okay. No, Hangman was on there. Yeah. It was Samoa Joe, Christian, Hangman, Ospreay, and then Danielson was on there. It was supposed to be Swerve's way of saying, it was supposed to be Swerve declaring, like in his way, he's winning this match, and he's gonna have Danielson, on his list of accolades, of men he's beaten.
That's cool.
Top stars he's beaten.
So I actually like that you could either take that as a homage to Killshot, or it ties in with Killmonger because Killmonger has those tattoos,
Oh, marks of
those
all the
marks of all the people he's killed.
yeah.
So
Add
either
the
one
layers
works.
that was on there is fantastic. It is good. Like I didn't notice about those 5 heads until I was watching some reviews,
Me
honestly.
neither. Uh,
But it was a
this
good,
match.
really. You know what? I'm gonna stop focusing on it. Let's talk about this match. Let's talk about this
Sorry,
match.
this match felt when the bell rung, it felt like a big fight feel. Like you didn't know what was going to happen. You had JR on commentary, which was great.
Yeah, it's good to see him on commentary.
And they did the opening of this match was really just a filling out process. Just okay, let's see which Brian we're going to get. Are we going to get the technician? Are we going to get the brawler? Or are we going to get a combination of the two? Swerve really doing a great job of like showing that he studied Brian's matches. Everything Brian went for him to do, Swerve had a counter. Swerve countered the cattle mutilation
Cattle mutilation.
with a vertebraker.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking to myself, man. Yeah, that's why I see the vertebraker can be used as a great finisher. That's what I was trying to say. The vertebraker can be a great finisher for Mercedes, if the moneymaker is just not working out for her.
Yeah.
But even then, just like I love the opening there. Like Danielson, he's going in to like really show up Swerve, but Swerve showing that not only was he 100% ready for him, but he's like you said, he studied him, showing Danielson he's gonna need to do more than just his simple bag of tricks to get the to get the best of him. And we saw that with the vertebraker reverse, the cumulation, all those times that Danielson was trying to do a simple tie-up, but Swerve was like, no, I'm just gonna, well, not fake you out, but I'm just not gonna let you, control the match.
Yep. And then the referee gets knocked down for a minute, and Nana brings in the bell, like the ring bell, and then Swerve hits Death Valley Driver on Danielson. This one seemed kind of weird because he landed on the back of his head, but somehow he's bleeding in the front of his head.
Well, I think his Swerve was trying to angle it to where the top of his head was going to hit that, but when it came down with the motion, it.
At that point, it might have been better just to do a DDT. But I get what they were trying to do. But just like the elevation of him landing on his head and then somehow he's bleeding from the front of his head was kind of weird. But that's a small nitpick in this match.
Yeah. It's just one of those situations where the spot just did not play out how they were trying to do it. But even then, it still falls down to what Swerve is willing to do in this match in order to beat Danielson. And Swerve, he really did 100% lean into the... Well, I mean, he wasn't just heelish, but he really was leaning into, like, I'm keeping my promise to you. Like, he really, he brings Danielson's bloody body right in front of his face. That's
completely heel.
Oh, no, it is heel. It is heel. I'm just saying, he's not, like, being overconfident heel. He's being more of, like, he's saying, like, he's yelling at Birdie, you want your daddy to come home. This is what I'm doing. I'm bringing your dad home, all right? Your dad's coming home because of me. You're going to thank me.
Can I say, it is kind of weird to see Swerve, like, harass a little girl in front of her father when that was literally the story of him and Christian Cage? No,
I'm sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Like, the whole story of him and Christian was that, like, Christian brought Swerve's family, his daughter and his wife into this, and now Swerve's doing the exact same thing with Brian.
Well, that I think it just falls into Swerve kind of like I think it was unfortunately just kind of the trajectory change, because when Swerve won the title, they were trying to make him like a baby face to where, like, not only was Christian mocking for his daughter, but also the Mogul Embassy turned on him. Like, they were trying to put Swerve as a baby face instead of, let Swerve be Swerve. Maybe book him as a tweener. They started doing that, like, once it got to Ospreay. But at that time, they were really trying very hard to Double or Nothing to make Swerve as this babyface guy to be someone like, I'm trying to turn a new leaf here. But the moment we got the Osprey, he's like, no, he's gonna go back on his whole thing. So I do kind of see a little bit of the hypocrisy in there, but it definitely plays in the Swerve character. It's showing why he's dangerous. He's going to use everything, and he's going to do whatever it takes to hold on to that title and be the one to retire Bryan.
Yeah. So towards the middle of this match, we have Bryan going for a Bosaico knee, and just showing that he has nothing left, and Osprey and Swerve just brushes it off like it's nothing.
Well, it wasn't just that, but even before then, the build up towards it, the Swerve was just dominating after after he was just terrorizing Birdie. He was doing insane. He was doing these spots to really wear out Bryan. That top rope, I believe Frankensteiner, or was a back suplex. That he did onto him. Like, he was trying to put as much on. He was trying to hurt Bryan's neck to where it was he had no energy back, and that there was even a spot to where the rep brought in the doctors, and they were asking,
the vertebraker spot.
Yes. Well, not just that vertebraker spot, but when Danielson was playing on that neck, I was hearing Nana say his arm is broken, like he can't move it. Like I heard Nana say that, and even then, Swerve gave even before that spot, Swerve did he gave 4 house calls onto Bryan Danielson, and Bryan kicked out of those. And then, of course, when
at least 2 of those were facing Brie and his family too.
Yeah, he was every time he was doing those house calls, he was looking at his family, pointing towards them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, whenever Bryan, it's the whole point before that Psycho knee spot, Bryan was always having these hope moment spots, but then Swerve would just, ruin that moment of hope and then get back into taking control of the match. So when that did happen, the crowd was hyped like crazy. But when Swerve did the brush off, sucked the air out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in a good way to where people were like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, that's the biggest shot that Bryan has, and it didn't do anything to Swerve.
But what works about that spot was that the Bosaico knee, it wasn't actually at Swerve's head. He did it on his chest. So it's in a way to where Swerve kind of absorbed the blow. So and also it's kind of telling you that this was
Bryan's tired.
Tired. He was running out of gas. But then of course, oh my God, when that moment came where he's just giving those kicks, doing the yes kicks on Daniel.
I love you, Birdie.
Yeah, he's looking at his family while doing that, and then he's back on. I love that moment because this is Swerve. Instead of going for the win, he's trying to just drag things out. That's the story I'm seeing here. Instead of Swerve doing what he says he's going to do, he's unfortunately he's getting overconfident. He's getting cocky in that moment. And then when Swerve almost had the match won, what happens? Fucking Hangman shows up, runs out from the crowd, but he's being held off by security. And instead of Swerve putting his focus back on Danielson, what is he doing? He's mocking Hangman, saying he is the champion, which leads Danielson into that Psycho knee in that big comeback to where later on he ends up, he puts him in, instead of the catamulation, he does a lapel lock. But then he gets out of it, but then then Danielson snaps his fingers and does the Rings of Saturn, which leads him to not only Swerve tapping out, but for Danielson to finally win and become the AEW champion.
Dude, I popped so hard when he won. Not only that, this is the first time in AEW in his AEW history that Swerve has tapped out in a match.
Yes. Not only that, also they mentioned that when Swerve used the JMLL driver, it was the first time someone's kicked out of that move as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this entire match is truly showing that this was a match where we thought there was going to be a dusty finish with Hangman involved. No, it wasn't a dusty finish. It was more of a character flaw in Swerve's character, to where he just couldn't help himself. This match has Swerve losing strong. that the only reason why he lost was because of his own character fault, his own character flaws. But Danielson winning, yeah, I'll be honest, I wanted Swerve to win because I thought this would have been a great notch in his reign as champion. But then, when I was watching this entire show and I'm going to myself, if Danielson wins, I can accept that. And then the way he does win, I'm going, you know what? This is a great win because Swerve goes out as a warrior and Danielson is able to claim that prize and celebrate with his family.
I don't think Bryan's holding this belt long. He has always said he does not want to hold this world title because.
No, I think even said. I think I remember. I think some interviews that were showing that Tony had to convince Danielson to win the title.
Yeah, because he wanted Bryan to have this like one last moment on top of the title.
Yeah. And that's one thing I appreciate about Danielson throughout his run in AEW. He said, I mean, even despite his words, he is showing he's there to simply just wrestle. Sure, there are wrestlers out there that's like, you're an idiot if you don't want to be world champion. But you can still have a great wrestling career without ever holding a world title in any promotion. And I think Danielson, he wanted to prove that here. If this match had just not been, if his career was not on the line, I honestly could have seen Swerve win this championship. Swerve retained. But because the career was on the line, it really was at this moment to where, is Tony really gonna break everyone's hearts? Or will Danielson, is he gonna break everyone's hearts in a bad way or in a good way? And it seems to me,
I was watching a podcast and somebody said, if this is gonna be Bryan's last year, and I don't want it to go out like this, where we're not sure if this is his last match. I want him to go out like Sting did, where we know no matter what happens, this is his last match. Yeah. Like Sting went out at Revolution. He's done. I want Bryan to go out when he's ready to fully hang it up. And we know ahead of time that, all right, on this day, it will be my final match.
Yeah. And he did mention that his contract had already expired around earlier this month in August. And then he did say in an interview the doctor said he is going to need neck surgery by the end of this year. So yeah, I do believe that he's not going to hold the belt that long. Now, I mean, I'm speculating that he could either drop the belt by Wrestle Dream or the company is going to give that belt to Darby.
I could see them giving it to Darby.
I mean, Darby's first defense can be at Wrestle Dream, and honestly, Darby, day one AEW guy.
Oh my God! Hold on, I'm sorry. I just thought about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Darby takes the belt from Bryan so he can go and do his neck surgery. And the first person to challenge Darby at Wrestle Dream has to be Swerve. 2 Washington guys in the main event for the world title, and this is a feud that they've been setting up since Swerve attacked Nick Wayne and Darby Allin all the way last year before Wrestle Dream. Darby's first defense should be against Swerve at Wrestle Dream.
That is honestly, I could see that. But also, if Christian doesn't use that Casino Gauntlet opportunity for All Out, and Darby does win the title, I could also see Christian potentially, because who also was someone that Darby had a feud with? Christian. I mean, he fought Christian at Wrestle Dream to where Nick Wayne turned on Darby.
Yep.
It could be like one full year going into that. They faced each other the first time. Christian came out the winner. Darby goes in as champion. Christian's the challenger. Darby walks out. And then I could see Killswitch making that fucking turn on Christian, costing him that championship.
And then if you have Darby with the world title, if Jack Perry loses the TNT title, that's another feud for Darby.
Yeah. And one of the reasons why I'm holding off on Swerve at Wrestle Dream is because I also have in my mind that Swerve and Hangman, maybe their third match is going to be at Wrestle Dream again, 1 year after their
Yeah.
first time they fought. You know, Wrestle Dream could be like a full circle moment for both for a Darby and Christian rematch, and then a Swerve and Hangman rematch.
Yeah, I was thinking you do Swerve and Hangman at All Out, because that'll give you a big marquee match, and then you set up Danielson and Darby for a Grand Slam, and
Darby,
then you set up Darby and Swerve for Wrestle Dream.
Yeah, I mean, I get it with the whole Washington boys. Yeah, I just think that I mean, for me, like on the storytelling purpose, like it would be so good. Like last year, 2023, at the first Wrestle Dream, Darby main evented against Christian. He lost to Christian. Swerve became a star, a big star by defeating Hangman at Christian. So it feels like a full circle moment where Hangman wants to take everything from Swerve. Why not do it at the place that began Swerve's uprise, that began Swerve's rise, and Hangman's downfall into madness. And then with Darby, it could, like, we're seeing the possibilities here, but beyond that, outside of that, I am honestly happy that Danielson won. I am also happy of the reign that Swerve had. Yes, it was 4 months, but even then, it was truly a solid reign.
Wait, it's only been 4 months?
Yeah, he won it at Dynasty.
He won it in February, March.
No, Dynasty was April.
I thought that was February, because I thought it was after. I thought Dynasty was right after.
Dynasty was after Revolution.
Because Revolution was in January, wasn't it?
No, Revolution was March. March was Revolution because he was in a 3-way match against Hangman and Samoa Joe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what?
I thought that was February.
When I was listening to Steven Larson, they thought Hangman had it for 5 months. They thought he won at Revolution. I'm like, no, he won at Dynasty, and he defended at Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, and here he's also had some eliminator matches. But man, I will be honest. Despite Swerve only having 4 months, man, I was keeping my eye solely on Swerve's reign because I was worried on how they would book his title reign, and I was also doubly pissed off at some of the fan responses. They were constantly undercutting and dragging Swerve's reign, like, oh, he's not being booked right, or this is not how I saw him being booked. Guys, I'm like, and so many people were judging how it was going to end with him losing it to Ospreay. Which I'm so happy that Ospreay saw this fan negative backlash and goes, no, we're not doing that. And we're doing this, kicking this off earlier. So then Swerve gets to have a more bigger match going in. Yes, he lost, but even then, Swerve is a top star. And earlier on in the pay-per-view, they showed that Swerve has re-signed with AEW into 2028 for his contract.
By the way, I'm going on a rant for a minute. Excuse me for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop right now because the more I talk, the more I ramble on.
I saw somebody in the comments of one of the reviews I was watching, and they were like, "Oh, Swerve should be begging Triple H for a job." I'm like, what are you talking about? My dude went from being a mid card in WWE to being world fucking champion and main eventing the biggest show in AEW. What are you talking about?
And at the same time, I don't think Trips is the right person to be looking up for a job. Look, whatever he's doing with WWE on the main card is fine, but even with his own guys, Tripp with his own favorites, they're not really in a good spot. Because let's be honest, the guys that were huge under Triple H's time in NXT, Karrion Kross, what the hell he is stuck in this faction with Authors of Pain, who are also big, who they've never challenged for the tag titles, as far as I'm aware. And then, of course, DIY. They had a short ass reign with the titles and lost it to the New Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano. I mean, I love them. I love DIY. I don't know what the point is of them being used like this on the main roster. You know what? No. I'm not going to ramble. I'm not going to go on. I want to focus more back onto this. It's those random comments that you came across on a podcast and what I find online where I'm like, this loud minority are just going to say whatever they want to undercut the importance of what's going on here. Swerve's reign has been dragged through the mud ever since after he won the title at Dynasty. He decided to defend it at Daly's place in an eliminator match, and people have never stopped nipping at his heels. I'm like, so many people. Yeah, it's really stupid. I didn't see Samoa Joe get this much heat when he was champion, but all this thrown at Swerve. But it pisses me off. As someone who loves wrestling and wants to see more representation in wrestling, it pisses me off when I constantly see people want to do this. You're going to do this to someone like Swerve, who became the first black champion in AEW. How the hell are you going to feel when they crown... Rey Fenix won the international title. But how are you going to feel when they crown someone of Mexican descent as the world champion, or someone of Asian descent, or Russian descent, or an Aussie as world champion? If this is how fans are going to act towards Swerve, how are you all going to act when Jay White wins the title, or if they we see Ospreay as champion?
I'm so scared that the fans are going to turn. The minority are going to turn on Ospreay when he wins that world title.
They were already turning on him when he was going against Swerve. But you know what? I'm going to stop this fucking rant right now because it's just going to make me depressed, and I don't want to feel depressed right now. I want to feel excited because this was a fantastic pay-per-view. This whole match, if I have to give a grade on this card, I will say it is a B+, or at least around an A-. The only thing that dropped it down was the production, the camera cuts of the production, the FTW match, and the slow start to Britt and Mercedes. Beyond that, everything else, some of the smaller gripes in the other matches I can overlook. The ending of the Casino Gauntlet match is not really a downer like everyone thinks it is. To me, I think it's going to pay off into a larger story. It wasn't supposed to be. It's not the button. It's not the button to close. It's opening doors to where I think it will finally start the face turn for for Kill Switch, and it will be like Christian's roosters have come to chickens have come to roost for Christian. I don't know. Man. I'm just trying to remember that phrase, that turn of phrase, But I did love the pay-per-view. I even enjoyed 0 Hour. So I look forward to All Out coming up in 2 weeks.
Yep. I'm gonna give this A-. With my gripes with Mercedes and Britt, I just feel like that match never got out of first gear for me. Yeah. I think they could definitely do way, way better down the line. And with the production issues that we definitely had. But overall, I think almost every single match I enjoyed for one way or another, whether it's a spot fest with a ladder match or some great tag team work in the 3-way tag match. Yeah. The main event being spectacular. Ospreay and MJF being probably my match of the night. Besides some nitpicks and the clearly, botched production issues that they had on this card.
Yeah.
This rivals last year's for me.
Yeah. It makes me even more excited for All In 2025 in Texas. I'm going to reach out to some friends to see if people if they're interested in wanting to go.
I'm going to try to go.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like something they need to sign up for in order to be involved in the pre-sale, but yeah, I want to get involved in this. I want to reach out to some friends and we can all get together, fly in from freaking Texas, fly into Texas, and just have a blast, have a ball.
If I'm able to actually go to the show, you and me should meet up, like hang out like at the show. That'd be fucking
Oh,
awesome.
without a doubt. I'm also gonna reach out to some of my cruise friends if they're willing to come. Everyone just turn the whole fucking weekend into a party.
Oh, dude, that'd be so fun. With it being, I think it's only 5 hours from where I live, a 5 hour drive. So,
5 hour drive. I
yeah.
know it's a drive for me, but I think a simple one-way flight to Texas is like under at least under $200. So I think depending on the
I
flight,
could probably get a flight cheaper.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I have friends
I'm definitely,
in Detroit that might think of wanting to drive down themselves.
I'm definitely going to try to go to All In next year. By the way, I'm so sick of people. I know I brought this up before. I'm so sick of people talking about the attendance numbers. I don't care. Just give me a fucking great show.
Yeah. AEW will restructure how they're going to do things moving forward. All In's going to be in Texas, and they're going back to Wembley in 2026. So let's see what happens between that time. If they get to the point where they can't meet by 50,000 at Wembley, then there's something. Then there's something to be like, okay, there's something to worry about. But as far as I'm concerned, AEW, great moment to really start continue going strong all the way to the end of 2024 to really bring in that acclaim. And hopefully, if there's ever going to be a TV deal announced, they should announce it soon so it can stop being the focus on people's minds.
Didn't Tony Khan also say he was going to have a major announcement for this show?
I think the announcements were Grand
Forbidden Door in
Slam
London
and Forbidden Door.
Okay.
Those were the only big announcements I saw.
Because I know everyone was talking about it. When he said that this was going to change AEW, everyone thought that he was going to be talking about the TV deal.
I think the problem with Tony Khan is that he's just building something to where it's like, oh, it's not the right time. Okay, we'll just talk about this moment.
All right, guys. I think that's it. We've
gone it.
3 hours. Ryan, where can people find you online?
Well, you guys can find me here on Facebook. Just look for my name, Ryan Payne, and then you can message me. You want to talk wrestling? Definitely open to talking wrestling with anybody here. I have a Twitter account. I rarely use it, but you can still message me for conversation. Maybe I'm thinking about getting Threads now, because that looks like that's more of a social media that looks more engaging, to be honest.
Wow, Threads, really?
Maybe. I don't know. Just some people I follow have, gotten rid of some of their social media accounts and they're solely on Threads or Instagram, so that's why.
That's fair. All right. Are you gonna plug your podcast as well?
You know what? Yeah, we may not have no new episodes out right now, but I will plug my podcast. It is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. It is called Wrestle Ramblings and Rages. I co-host it with my friend James Shimo and our occasional collaborator Brenton McPherson. We do have some episodes that we had released earlier this year, from January, February, and in March. Go and check those out. Leave a comment. If there's something you'd want us to review, put that in the comment. Let us know like what we can do to improve ourselves, or how we can, structure our podcast. We're open to feedback because even though we're not doing this as a job, we would definitely love to do more podcast recordings. So don't be afraid to let us. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter, negative or good or bad. We would like to hear some feedback.
All right, if you guys did enjoy this, please hit that like button, subscribe to Nerd Entertainment Network down below. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys soon. Peace.